She appeared in Isleworth Crown Court in London yesterday. Her trial is now due to start on January 7th, 2030. There have been calls for an increase in services to develop Convoy's growth as it becomes a commuter town for Letterkenny. Councillor Martin Hurley says a balance needs to be struck between the number of houses being built and the available amenities for residents there. However, given Convoy's close proximity to Letterkenny, demand for housing is growing. Councillor Hurley says it's vital that the town responds to the needs of the residents.
It's grand and it's great. We all love to see new housing projects coming on board, no matter where they are. But realise that we need all the other facilities that wrap around that, because if you're putting extra people into an area, you have to make sure there's enough school spaces. You have to make sure that there's doctors and all the medical that needed for the area.
An animal welfare charity based in Donegal says they are unsure how they will cope coming up to Christmas. In a social media post, Animals in Need Donegal says they have been inundated with surrender requests for both cats and dogs, but every foster and boarding place is now full. The group says its priority remains the dogs in the local pound, all of which it managed to take out last week, though more are expected to arrive before Christmas. They are appealing to the public not to get a dog for Christmas, stressing that pets need a calm, stable environment to settle in, something the holiday season rarely provides. Instead, they suggest gifting a Christmas hamper with a pet bed and supplies, and considering adoption once the household is quiet again in the new year. And now for the weather. Widespread thundery rain at first will lead to further localised flooding. The rain will clear to scattered showers for the afternoon. Flooding is also possible in some low-lying coastal areas, especially around high tide. Mild with highs of 13 to 15 degrees. That's all from the newsroom for now. We'll be back with another update and the obituary notices at 10 o'clock.
Now is the perfect time to make your family and friends feel loved by sending them post. Don't forget to get it sorted before the sleigh bells ring. Because remember, the last day to post your cards to the USA is Wednesday, December 10th. Send love near and far this Christmas. Unpost. Send love. See unpost.com/Christmas for more.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning. You're very welcome along to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. It is Tuesday, the 9th of December, 5 minutes past 9. How are you all keeping? I do hope you're very well indeed. And we're looking at the window here out the mountaintop Letterkenny, and it is dark. And it is the calm before the storm. Stay safe, everyone. And maybe, you've had to take today off, or you've been allowed to take today off, or with the schools being closed, you've had to because maybe you didn't have someone to look after the children. Well, hopefully, if you don't always get an opportunity to listen to the 9 till noon show, you'll enjoy the show with us today. And we invite every morning people to get involved with the conversation. If there's any information we can pass on, by the way, that you think might be useful to others, that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about here. We're more than happy to do that, but we'll also keep you up to date with any news and any news that we get, but also all the exciting stuff we've got lined up for you. So those telephone numbers to get in contact with us. WhatsApps and text to 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000. We're always welcoming your calls to 07491 25,000. Or if you want to email, it's comments@highlandradio.com. And we also stream the show every day for people to watch, and hundreds and sometimes thousands of you watch every day, and we love our loyal listeners right across our various platforms. Firstly, you can watch the stream on our website in the Watch Live section. I don't often mention that, but we're also on the YouTube platform. We're on your smart TV, your Fire Stick and mobile devices there. Just search Highland Radio Ireland. We're across the Facebook pages and on the X platform as well, right, where we get more of our international viewers on X. It's an interesting mix, though, of where people choose to watch. Anyway, so stay tuned. Don't forget, as I say, pass on any information that you have that you might think might be useful to others. We haven't seen the strong winds yet, so we're not anticipating any major reports. But there are, strangely, especially on roads that have just been completed or work has just been done, one of the most dangerous things I find when I'm out on the road is those water pooling. Do you know that water pooling on the side of the road that catches your left wheel? It's horrible when that happens. So you have to keep a good tight grip of that steering wheel, don't you? Because I'll be watching for everything, and then sometimes you can miss that little bit of water there. And stick your lights on as well too. I know most people do, and many cars actually have daytime driving lights, but many of us too have cars where you have to stick them on manually, and it doesn't cost you a shilling on ESB. Stick them on there, and it means that everyone has a good chance to see you. Let's run through the front pages of the newspapers this morning, and this is coming down the line for a lot of people listening to us in their 30s and 40s, I would imagine. We're getting early indications of sort of a change as to how we live out our older lives. This is in the Irish Daily Mail. The number of people still renting from private landlords at age 65 has doubled since 2011. More people in their 40s, 50s and early 60s are renting than ever before, while the age when people first step onto the property ladder has jumped from 26. You know, that was achievable. That was back in 1996. I was able to do that, thankfully, on a really very, very modest wage with a little bit of creative thinking, I have to be honest. But now, if you do get on the property ladder, if you're lucky enough, on average, you're 36, which often means your mortgage, 25, 30 years, you know, if you're lucky, you're paying it well into retirement. Reading on, though, it also means many people are starting or already have families while renting, and many are without the kinds of financial protection they would normally have if they were buying a home. Soaring rents and rising numbers of older tenants are leaving more families financially exposed in the event of an unexpected illness or life shock, Royal London Ireland, which conducted the research, warned. The research found market rents are now 2/3 higher on average than the Celtic Tiger peak. The average monthly rent for a 2-bed apartment nationally is now €2,080, which is almost 25,000 a year. So can you imagine having to pay that? But is it the case that you know, your ability to pay rent should be favourable for you getting a mortgage, shouldn't it? I mean, if you're able to pay €2,080 for an apartment, I hope we're at a point whereby, and I suspect we're not, that, you know, your ability to pay and your pay record on that would prove your ability to pay back a mortgage, even if the numbers didn't precisely add up. Maybe I'm being naive, but you would hope that's the case. On to the Irish Times this morning on page 2 of their paper. And the government paid €367 million in 3 months to provide accommodation to international protection applicants and people fleeing Russia's war in Ukraine, new figures show. Most of the beneficiary companies have unlimited status, availing of legal structures in which they are not required to publicly report on profits, losses, dividends or debts. So that's 367 million. The people that got in on that at the beginning did really well, didn't they? And it's a bit of a closed shop too, because I know people who wanted to give up their property back in the day. Was it 800 a month or something? But it was the big boys that had already had their teeth into the this area that were kind of sweeping all of that up. So it ended up costing the state far more than perhaps it should have. The shareholders in some companies are also held offshore in the jurisdiction, such as the Isle of Man, where tax on businesses is low and little or no financial information is publicly available. Figures from the Department of Children, Disability and Equality show the state paid $285.4 million on international protection and related costs in July-September. In the same period, the amount spent on Ukrainian accommodation and related costs was $81.7 million. Companies linked to Monaghan GEA football team manager Seamus Banty McEnany and his wider family were among those in receipt of payments. They include Brimwood Unlimited, which received 3.11 million in 3 months, and IMA Ventures, which received 2.69 million. The payments include 12.58 million to Cape Wrath Hotel Unlimited Company, the former City West Hotel owner, whose deal to sell the complex to the government for 148 million closed in September. It's a very small amount of people taking in all of that money. You think? I just think the Irish government perhaps could have got it cheaper. Are you familiar with Cara Darmody? She is a young activist and she's preparing for a 50-hour sleep out in protest, a sleep out protest in the hope of highlighting the National Assessment of Needs crisis. There are 18,000 children in Ireland awaiting an assessment of need, with the figure expected to rise to around 25,000 before the end of the year. Cara, who's 15 and from County Tipperary, will camp on the street outside Leinster House for 2 nights, starting at 11 a.m. today, and will meet with opposition party leaders during the day. The teenager said the purpose of her protest is to call out the blatant assessment of needs law breaking by the government by not assessing autistic children within the legal time of 6 months. They are smashing the AON law in 93% of cases, with the figures gone from 15,000 to over 18,000 since my protest last night. She's a powerful young girl and advocating on behalf of an awful lot of young people. I'll remind you, 11 billion we took in 1 month. I don't want to keep banging the drum on that, but how could we have 18,000 young people in that situation when we have so much money around the place? Gardaí believe they've identified those who ordered and carried out the firebomb attack that led to the murders of a 4-year-old boy and his grand aunt. This is in the Irish Daily Star. The paper has learned a notorious criminal is suspected to have orchestrated the arson on a house in Edenderry in County Offaly after his associate was attacked by another prisoner in a jail bus-stop the day prior. Tig Farrell and 60-year-old Mary Holt died when a petrol bomb was thrown at the property on the Castle Park estate on Saturday night. Hey, you have some money anyway out there, because Irish consumers' spending soared to festive heights during Christmas 24, with shoppers dashing through the aisles and ringing up new records. Some 80 million AIB card transactions were carried out in December last year, with the total spend reaching 3.9 billion. That's a 9% increase compared to December 23, with shoppers on course to break spending records again this year. So don't be tight. If you're spreading love, send some my way, why don't you? And finally, we're going to be covering this in a moment. As you know, Ireland is braced for strong gusts and heavy rainfall as Storm Bram hits the country today. The status orange wind warnings are in place for 18 counties, with flooding and travel chaos feared. Now, as it turns out, the weather warning slipped back in the day today and will run until 10 p.m. this evening. So that's thrown into question some events. We're going to have some details of that and word from the council on their preparedness as we take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
Think outside the box with your photos this Christmas for canvas prints, Instablocks, mugs and photo books at mcgee's.ie. McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Fancy a well-deserved break while travelling? Bogue's Food Hall on the main Dublin Road in County Monaghan is the perfect place to stop. Enjoy delicious, freshly prepared food every day from our talented chefs. Open Monday to Saturday, 6:30am to 9pm, and Sundays and bank holidays, 7:30am to 8pm, with plenty of parking, indoor seating, great coffee, refreshments, and a beautiful selection of handcrafted bouquets. It's a stop you'll remember. Bogue's Food Hall, Dublin Road, Monaghan.
I know what you're feeling, and I was there too. And I know you might think that there is nobody to talk to, but I promise that you're not alone. It was never your fault, and you deserve support and healing in your own time. Whenever you're ready to talk, Dublin Rape Crisis Centre will be ready to listen. Call the 24-hour national helpline on 1-800-77-8888.
If I was cyberbullied, you put your arm around me, right?
If the videos on my feed tried to push me to extremes, would you intervene?
What if I was pressured into a dangerous challenge?
Or became bombarded with videos of self-harm?
Disordered eating?
Suicide?
Children and young people can encounter violence, bullying, explicit content and many other dangers online. Harmful content is never acceptable. Report it to the platform where you see it. Visit Commission the Mound at www.cnam.ie for more on how to report.
At Blue Poppy Dentistry and Orthodontics, we're proud to offer expert care in crowns and bridge work through our skilled team, Drs. Tang and Wazik. Whether you need to restore strength, structure, or enhance your smile's appearance, Blue Poppy delivers high quality, tailored solutions that put your comfort and confidence first. Call us on 074 9120355 or book online at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dentistry and Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town, where your smile finds its strength.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 18 minutes past 9. Right, okay, let's go to Gary Martin, Director of Emergency Services at Donegal County Council. And Gary, you on your teams have been working on this, haven't you? As soon as we got information that we could be facing into some extreme weather. It's now a storm, of course. What is the message you want to get out to the public there, Gary?
Yeah, no, good morning, Greg. I suppose we've been preparing for this since Sunday. There was a national meeting called on Sunday with the emerging weather event. So our severe weather assessment team have been reviewing it since then, including a number of meetings yesterday. What's slightly unusual about Storm Bram is that it's quite an evolving storm in the sense that it's got a lot of different moving parts between the wind, the rain, the coastal surge with potential tidal lock, and I suppose just the offshore storm warnings as well that we have. So lots and lots and lots of different moving parts, which means that for the Met Éireann forecasters, it's quite difficult to pin down. Even this morning, there was an update with regard to the timings. And so I suppose the couple of first messages I'd like to give to the listeners this morning, Greg, is that we're currently in a period of a yellow wind warning from 6 a.m. this morning, and that'll run until tonight. But in the midst of that, for Donegal, the height of the wind event in Donegal will be from 2 p.m. today until 9 p.m. tonight. So that's the time of particular concern that we have, and that has been evolving and moving out over the last 24 hours. We also have that red marine warning that's in place until 8 p.m. tonight. That effectively means that just offshore we have the potential for violent storm force events, which will have a minor impact, I suppose, on the coastal areas adjacent to that. And again, nothing is certain in relation to all of this. We would certainly urge huge caution for people in coastal areas. Stay high, stay back from the water. Don't go near any of the low-lying promenades or piers or that, just in case there is onshore waves that could cause danger.
What might there be consequences of that for the usual hotspots? Say, for instance, your Donegal towns, your Killybegs, your Burton ports. It all depends on wind direction, of course, but we do have that wind and the tides. So what's the story there, Gary?
Yeah, look, in preparation for that, we forward deployed sandbags to Donegal town last night. It's one of these places, again, Greg, as well as I do, it's just constantly under threat if we have particular weather conditions, including southwest winds. Now, we were okay this morning. High tide this morning, I think, was around 8:40 a.m. So we were fine there in Donegal town this morning. There'll be another high tide event at 9 p.m. tonight. The winds, I think, at that stage are forecast to be coming from the southwest direction. So there's also a risk there. So the pier in Donegal town will remain closed until 11 p.m. tonight. And again, we would just urge caution for anybody in that particular area around those times. There's also, I suppose, over the next 24 hours, consistent and persistent rain. That on top, I suppose, of the already waterlogged ground, the very, very, very full rivers, gives rise for the potential for localised flooding. We've seen it, since Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Anybody that's been driving on the roads in Donegal will see localised small flooding events, water pooling on the roads. And we would really urge people to be cautious, to slow down, to drive very, very carefully, because you don't know when you might run into one of these pools of water, which could cause you difficulty in controlling the vehicle that you're actually in. So it's, as I say, it's a multifaceted event. And really, I suppose the advice that we're giving everyone until probably midday tomorrow, taking into account the rain and everything else, is, travel if necessary, but do so with caution. Reduce your speed. Be mindful of the environment that you're in. during the yellow wind warnings, which we're now in, and particularly during the orange wind warnings, which run from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight, be very, very mindful that there could be debris, there could be flying debris, there could be branches down, and so on and so forth. So just again, be very, very cautious as you go about your business
Just
today.
in relation to that, given the experience of your teams, the wind direction, the time of the year, and how maybe trees are laden or previously weakened in former storms, it's inevitable, isn't it, that we will see trees down, Gary? And of course, this is why people are only are asked to travel unless it's necessary, because it is only timing that would prevent a tragedy unless we sort of intervene in that regard.
Yeah, look, you just got to be really, really careful. The thing about these weather events, Greg, is that you really don't know, the true impact of them until they actually hit in an area, and then secondly, the localized nature of these different types of events. Like there have been suggestions as well that with the high winds later today and into this evening, that there may very well be electricity outages. So again, we'd ask people to prepare for that. The normal advice, have your phones charged, make sure that, you have, I suppose, torches and so on and so forth available in the event that the lights do go out later on. The fact that we have the orange wind warning running from 2 p.m. into the early hours of darkness, from 5 p.m. and then through to 9 p.m. tonight means that we may have a situation where some people may be without power later on this evening. But again, huge uncertainty. But as everything, you prepare as best as you can for these types of eventualities.
If we come across trees down or roads flooded, is that information that the council's interested in, and how do we pass it on?
Yeah, we do have actually up on our website a number of numbers that people can call, both the ESB, the council, and indeed emergency services. And look, again, we would certainly urge people to put in the phone call to any of those bodies. It's up on the Donegal.ie website, all the different contact numbers that you might need. Take them down, have them available in the event that you see something that needs to be reported. And either our teams or indeed teams from our other agency colleagues will be responding in due course.
And look, we're well used to it. We live in the northwest. We get this weather. All we have to do is just use the stuff we've learned. It's nothing. I don't want people to think that we're trying to frame it as something we haven't seen before. But if we all follow our common sense and the basic guidance, we'll all get through this fine. Gary, listen, thank you for your update. And I know the council teams are remarkable in how quickly they respond and get out and get the roads cleared. It is quite remarkable, but it's very much appreciated. The same for the ESB, who will have to respond. So best wishes to all of them and our thanks. And Gary, unless there's anything that you feel you need to add, thank you for joining us.
No, thanks, Greg. And just again, final reminder to your listeners, just to care today. Think twice before you're doing anything, given the weather conditions we have at the present time.
Okay, thanks very much. Gary Martin, Director of Emergency Services at Donegal County Council. So yesterday, as Gary pointed out, the weather advice, the weather forecast was very, very different. It was a yellow wind warning, and that was to lapse around about 5 o'clock. Since then, it was upgraded to orange, and now will run until 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. So obviously, Highland Radio has been keeping a very close eye on that, because we have our big Christmas concert on this evening. Sean Quinn joins us now. Sean, the tough decision has had to be made, but this is different because it's only actually a short little shift, really. So talk to me about the decision-making process here in relation to the concert.
Yeah, so Greg, Gary put it there very, very well, in fairness. Travel, and don't travel unless you have to. So we've taken the unfortunate decision to cancel this evening. I think health and safety is paramount. There's people coming from right across the county and further, and we've got musicians that are looking to travel as well. The fact that they extended it from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock under amber, I think it's the right thing to do, to cancel. People's health and safety is far more important. So tonight is cancelled.
So it's rescheduled January, February, March, April?
No, the good news.
Go on.
I've been working all morning since 6 o'clock this morning. We've managed to actually put it all together for tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
So tomorrow night we are going to have our Christmas concert with the same lineup. Derek Ryan, Jerry Guthrie, Keith and Lorraine will be there. Des Willoughby, obviously David James and his band. The only replacement is Mike Denver can't make it, but we've been very fortunate to get Michael English to replace him, which is a brilliant replacement.
Well, it depends on who you're into. That's not bad now.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is
Michael English now. Unfortunately for Mike Denver fans, he's not able to reschedule tomorrow. But Michael English is the super sub.
He's a major act. And now what we're doing is we'll transfer all tickets from today to tomorrow. That includes your rooms. So if you're booked for the Mount Errigal, we'll transfer them as well. If you can't make it, we can offer you tickets for our birthday bash, which is in March. So they're transferable to that. If it was a one-off and you can't make either, we'll obviously refund your ticket, or we'll give you a voucher for a future event that we have coming up. And as you said, alluded to, we've loads of them coming up. So in a short space of time, I think we'll put on an amazing show, as tonight was going to be. Tomorrow will be just as good. And if you haven't bought a ticket, if you couldn't make it for tonight, but tomorrow you can buy tickets. They're still online at highlandradio.com. So you can go on today, and that ticket will actually get you entrance for tomorrow night. So that may be the case for quite a few people, that you now have an opportunity. You can come along.
So your tickets for tonight are valid for tomorrow night. Your overnight package is valid for tomorrow night. Just for those who can't make it, and we hope everyone can, because it's going to be a great night. Obviously, people call us, people use the website, or go directly to the Mount Errigal. So if they need to make any queries about that, regardless of where they got the tickets, do they call us?
So they probably the easiest way, if you've booked the hotel, contact the hotel.
Okay.
And what they'll do is they'll transfer you straight over from a room perspective. If it's a ticket, then come to us and ring us at the station here. Geraldine and Bronwyn will look after your inquiries. But if you can make it tomorrow, no need to call us. Just bring along your online ticket, or the ticket that you bought from the hotel, and they're all transferable and honoured for tomorrow night. Same time, nothing's changed. Doors are open at the same time, and we'll have no storm. It'll be all safe. We'll all be good. And we'll have a brilliant night.
Doors open 7 p.m. Don't forget the show starts sharp at 8 p.m. You're kind of used to that now, but it used to be 8:30, but now it's 8. So just make sure you get there at 7, and it kicks off at 8. Everything is the exact same. Mike Denver has been replaced by Michael English. So it's like bringing Pele on for Maradona there.
Pretty much so, yeah. That's actually a very good analogy, in fairness, Frank.
And your tickets are valid. If you have your ticket, you don't have to do anything. You just go tomorrow night instead of tonight. It's the same with if you're for an overnight stay, do contact the hotel and transfer that just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
And we can, those tickets, if you give us a call, we can make them available for the birthday bash. But contact us anyway, and we'll sort it out on a case-by-case basis. 074 91 25,000. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you.
Right, now, just to let you know, those Garda numbers, the council numbers, these are emergency contact numbers, and no harm having these. So this could be any matter you believe is for the attention of the council, but also the fire service as well. Uisce Éireann, people don't rely, if there's a problem with water, by the way, don't always rely on your neighbour to do it, because not everyone does, right? So the council during business hours, 9153900. The out of hours emergency number for the council is 9172288. The fire service, of course, 9990112. Uisce Éireann 1-800-278-278. We'll retain those numbers for you there. Listen, it's very possible that this all passes through and that we just used an abundance of caution and everything's fine. Or it could just be like we've kind of come to know, right? Some of us will lose our power. There'll be some trees down. The whole thing is just to make sure that we're all safe, and don't be trying to get that Instagram pic too near the coast, because did you see what happened over in Lanzarote there? It kind of went under the radar a little bit, but there was a storm, and storms don't happen there very often, and they lost quite a number of people, storm chasers. A caller says, why does it take Met Éireann so long to announce these storms when you've Kenneth at the Donegal Weather Channel and Alan in Carlow able to forewarn us about these storms almost a week ahead of our national provider? It's not good enough. If the storm isn't affecting Dublin, they don't give a damn. I'll just give a little bit of a break here to Met Éireann, and I have been here as one of their biggest critics. There's a big difference being a amateur weather forecaster where you can look at 3 or 4 models and one of those models is kind of showing a potential for a storm, and you can say, right guys, just a heads up, we could have a storm in 3 or 4 weeks. Met Éireann has to deliver whether they know, and that is no disrespect to Kenneth and Alan. They're 2 great guys, 2 regulars on this show as well, but they're not responsible or on the hook necessarily if, as I'm sure it happens, they get it wrong. People look for certainty from Met Éireann. People know they're going to get good weather from the channels that I've talked about, but they can sort of say, well, it could be this or it could be that, or I expect it could be red or it should be red, and throw a bit of an opinion in there. Met Éireann have to deal with the facts. You know, you've got many members of the farming community, boaters, the council, schools. You know, a school has to make a decision, and you know, you need someone that will say, no, definitively, we believe it's going to be this. Whereas the weather channels, which are fantastic, and I'm a big fan, don't get me wrong, they can sort of speculate a little bit in the weather in advance, often getting it right, okay, but they don't have to exercise as much caution as the Met Éireann might. Whether that's right or wrong, it's just, in fairness, to try and balance it out there. Storm Brown, I'm very disappointed with how the storm warnings are communicated. I took the day off work and kept my son off school for this storm. It's 9:30 a.m. It's so calm outside. When's the storm going to hit? Well, the weather wasn't... There was no warning that suggests that you should have done that, though it's probably the right thing to do. The decision, schools are making decisions about kids coming home, not going to school, right? So I know, speaking to people who operate bus services, they're wondering what the weather will be like at 3 o'clock at pickup time. In the morning, it was going to be fine, right? Because the weather warning doesn't kick into 9. Things are going to ramp up through the course of the morning and into the afternoon. And it's how people get home. If there's a power outage at school at 1 and then all of a sudden parents listen, pick your kids up. Or if the bus company say, listen, we dropped your kids to school, but we can't pick them up. There's a lot of variables, and a lot of principals are sort of looking for other bits of advice as to how to progress this. Okie doke, let's take a break. Back with more shortly.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Hugo Boss, Tom Ford, Dior, Marc Jacobs, and Carolina Herrera. Find all the biggest names in perfume and aftershave this Christmas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Paddy McGurr Machinery Sales Ballyshannon. Stockists of Kuhn Fire Machinery, including balers, mowers, tellers and more. We also stock SIP rakes and tellers, Connor Slurry equipment, Fleming equipment, Marigon mowers and Agrimaster mulchers, serving Donegal, Sligo and Leitrim. Call 086 329 8417 for expert advice and great deals. Paddy McGurr, quality machinery, ready when you are.
Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm from Letterkenny. My best advice for baking is to always use the freshest and best quality ingredients in all of your dishes. That's why I only use Philadelphia cream cheese, the original, in my homemade strawberry cheesecake.
Join Maggie and the thousands of other star bakers who use Philadelphia cream cheese for all your baking needs. The best friend in everyone's fridge. You've got a friend in Philly.
There's more to share at your Christmas party with Dunnes Stores. Mix and match 3 for 2 on a huge selection of party dishes, like our indulgent range of cheeses, and brand new options like chicken sliders, king prawn toasties, and frozen popcorn prawns or mac and cheese bites. And better yet, you can save more with your 5 off 25 voucher. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. Vouchers can be used on next grocery shop.
Mike Denver with guests Ray Lynham, Claudia Buckley and Jack Keogh in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. Tickets on sale now at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver and guests in concert at Jackson's Hotel Ballybuffet on Thursday, February 5th. The perfect Christmas gift.
JD Recovery Services, your trusted name in the Northwest for vehicle breakdown or accident recovery and roadside assistance, day or night. Agents for all major insurance companies. On call for fast, reliable service wherever you need us. JD Recovery Services, call 91 39303.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
Good morning, Rosie of Pure Boutique in Letterkenny. Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. Right, now, you've been really inconvenienced in the operation of your business because of air.
Absolutely.
So tell us what's been going on.
Right, first of all, it was actually on the 26th of October our lines weren't working and we knew that everything was okay, bills were paid, etc. So we actually further investigated and got through to air, and they told us there was a fault on the line and that they were working hard to get it sorted. So that was that. So the next day, a week went by. We kept ringing them every day because the owner doesn't live in the country, so she can't really access, the phone number from abroad. So finally, we did get her through to a number she could have used, and she was speaking to them for 45 minutes, explaining to them that our till system, our visa machine, everything, works off Wi-Fi. So to no avail, they kept saying, it'll be another few days and all. So it's 3 weeks on now, Greg, and there's still no Wi-Fi, still no phone line.
Wow. And this is affecting only your premises, or is it a localised outage, Rosie?
We're not sure of that, because when we did ask, they did say there was hundreds of lines that they were working on. And the operator did say to me that it's not them that deals with it, that it's some company. But like for 3 weeks without Wi-Fi, we're literally using our hotspots on our phone to operate the till and to operate like a visa machine. It's just crazy, like.
Yeah, of course.
You can't
and that's
small
not
business.
fully reliable. And because of modern technology, I presume is yours one of those tills that has to pop open, as part of the transaction,
exactly.
which means it does need that mobile connection.
Absolutely. And not just that, Greg, our phone lines have been down, and we had lots of customers that were ringing, checking the status of an order of bridesmaids, etc., and they weren't able to get through to us.
Ooh, right.
And, basically they weren't happy about that, and we had to try to explain. The only thing Air have actually done for us is they've actually transferred our landline over to the shop mobile. That's it. That's all they've done for us, which, again, is not ideal, because you're getting phone calls at weekends and everything when it's transferred over, because I do social media on the phone.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm getting calls on Sundays and everything else because the phone's been transferred over.
Absolute nightmare. And do you have a person that's dealing with this? Often when I cover stories like this, Rosie, people ring up and it feels like they're starting the whole process again with a new person, having to explain everything all over again. Do you at least have someone who's in control of this problem with Air?
No, every time we speak to it's a different person, and they're telling us the same old story. And then I was actually horrified. It's just come into my mind now. There's a lady came into the shop, and I was explaining to her our visa machine was down, so she went to get cash because my hotspot wasn't strong enough to do the till and the visa. So she actually said to me that her neighbour was with Air, and they were 2 months, and their children were studying and everything, 2 months without Wi-Fi and telephone. So it's obviously not just me.
Do you know what's interesting, Rosie? This is no use to you whatsoever, but I'm with a different company, and we had an outage at the house, and it was going to last a week, and they offered to send out a 5G router. They says, look, it's going to be out for a week. We can have one of these routers to you tomorrow.
Wow.
Gratis, like I just would have to send it back. That was a different company, not Air, I have to say. But you'd think they'd have something like that in place for businesses, wouldn't you?
You definitely would, because, obviously we have a warehouse as well, which operates on returns. So people are trying to ring up, where's my refund, where's it? Everything operates on Wi-Fi, and it's just caused us so much hassle. We lost a lot of sales too as a result of having no telephone lines, because Black Friday was there. And that was actual weekend that we had no Wi-Fi Black Friday weekend, so it was a little bit crazy now, I have to say.
And I know Pure Boutique has a fantastic, well-earned reputation, but if people are ringing a landline number, and it's not answering, it's not just the inconvenience of not getting through, it's potential judgment as well, to say, well, they're not answering the phone.
Absolutely.
So I think it's good that we're having this conversation, just in case anyone was trying to get through and struggled, that this is nothing to do with you guys. It's all down to Air. And the frustrating thing is they recognise there is a fault, but they're just not dealing with it as quickly as they should.
Yeah, I kind of like one of the guys I was speaking to. I actually had to pretend I was the owner with date of birth and everything, and he said to me, "Oh, there's hundreds of lines, not just yours." But I said, "We're a small business. We're trying to, you know, it's, sometimes around this time of the year it can be quiet for us as well, and for all retail. So more important than ever, we need our, operational things such as our tills and our these." So they just seem not to care. And like you said, that your company gave you a router. We didn't get that offer whatsoever. We've got nothing.
It was
the only thing
Vodafone. It was
done,
Vodafone offered the router. I might as well just say, because we're talking about different companies. They said,
I was with Vodafone and they're very good.
Okay.
But I just kind of feel like the only thing they did was transfer the phone over to our mobiles. So I would love somebody to even come back to me and let me know from Air what is exactly the problem.
Right, well, we're going to obviously make our contacts with Air and hopefully accelerates the situation and he's get sorted soon. You've already potentially took a hit in Black Friday coming into Christmas. You need these, every business, not you, every business needs any lift they can in these months because, January, March, February, etc. can be a little bit quieter.
Kind of grim.
Yeah, all right.
So you have to, try to.
Okay. A lot of brides for Christmas time now. Is it more popular, Rosie, than it might have been in the past?
It is indeed. You see, bridesmaids are starting to come back again. During lockdown, obviously, there was very small weddings, but we've got a very good bridesmaid at the minute, like bridesmaid business at the minute.
Yeah.
So we have orders that are coming in, and we've got obviously customers that are coming in as well to view our products and everything. So it is very important that we keep in touch with them and that they can keep in touch with us as well.
Okay.
Because obviously, they're spending a lot of money and they want to know if their bridesmaids are here. And that's what happened. Like last weekend, there was 2 sets of bridesmaids that were very annoyed because they couldn't get through. So that was when we got the phones transferred over then to the mobile. So at least we could get the calls,
Right.
But hopefully now, maybe after this.
Is there a colour trend for bridesmaids' dresses at the moment? Or is it a mixture?
Do you know what? It's a kind of mix, but there's a lot of people, believe it or not, are going for black bridesmaid dresses. And not a lot of people going for black.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
And it's quite easy for the mother of the bride then to obviously blend with that because she can choose any colour.
Yeah, lovely white dress. Listen, Rosie,
we're going to.
Oh no, I've seen it and it's lovely. We are going to chase up Air and see if we can get any rest. A caller says the only way to deal with this is Comreg. I have my
threatening with that already.
Yeah, I know, but I would need my faith fully restored in Comreg to back that listener in that comment. But listen, maybe it might work for you. Let's see what we can do. I can't promise anything, but maybe the attention might speed things up. By the way, the phone lines for Pure Boutique are open now. By the way, they were down because of this problem with Air, but since then they've been transferred to a mobile. So if you had any problem getting through, there's the regular numbers there up and running, and it was out of their hands. Thanks, Rosie.
Thanks so much, Greg.
Bye. Take care of yourself. A caller says 30 houses have no internet in Carragart for the last 3 weeks because of a broken line. They guaranteed that it would be repaired by tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's It's an absolute disgrace. Wowzers. I remember 3 weeks ago someone saying, is anyone else's internet out in Carragart? Apparently 30 houses are down in Carragart still. It's not going to be repaired by tomorrow because they're not going to put the crews out today. So you're facing into another day or two of no internet. But 3 weeks, 30 homes. Normally, things speed up if there's that many affected. Yeah, a caller did say Comreg's the only way to deal with Air. No harm pursuing that. Right, now a caller says, another storm in a teacup. How the hell did we survive years ago? We live in a crazy world now. I understand what you're saying, and I've been trying to phrase the warnings in a way not to over-amplify it and put the living daylights up to someone. Of course we know what to do. And as I said to Gary, what we do have now, the advantage we have now, and not everyone has it in the world, we know it's coming, right? So trampoline, tie it down, put it away. Your bins, put them around the side of the house or into the shed. Right, and if you're out in the roads, be conscious that a tree might fall or some of the water might be flooded. We're not predicting 40 days and 40 nights. We're just trying to get the information out there that's useful but not alarming, right? So at the end of the day, not everyone is as confident and looks for this information and reassurance, and that's what we're trying to do. Letterkenny ED, so busy this morning, don't expect to get parked, says a listener. I wonder why it is so busy. If you're in the ED listening, what's going on? There is a big surge in flu, we know that. Akota says, when the electricity goes off, so does the mobile phone network, so there's no way to contact anyone. Why do the masts not have battery or generator backup? Some of them do, you see, and some of them don't. It just depends on where you live.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, with all your perfume and aftershave presents this Christmas delivered to your door, or order online and collect in store. Visit mcgees.ie.
Hi, Marty Morrissey here. I'm delighted to tell you that the Marty Party is returning to Calpe in Spain next year from October 1st to October 8th. Johnny Logan will be joined by fellow Eurovision winners Niamh Kavanagh, Paul Harrington and Linda Martin. Also with us will be Sean Kane, the Whistling Donkeys, Honor and the wonderful Tommy Fleming. Book now on email by contacting Deirdre at CollesterTravel.com or phone her at 085 753 9038. The Marty Party, your ideal Christmas present.
Ní de hanúlathe technúla a bháin atá AI, tá sé de chach. Le Skills to Advance is féidir de istrucht de hósah trí AI micro-qualifications a oil. Fálam fí gan á iiritas AI agus an tionchar atá acu. Caríonn tuiscin ar AI le cinntaí feasca a dhéanamh. De réir mar a phléann tú le technoliaachtaí nua. Leabhar le de bhord ithicus agus ilúna áitiúil fi úsálúnta nniu, nó té chuig skillstoadvance.ie. Skills to Advance, ar na hacu ag solas agus ag rialtas na hÉireann.
The Water Stewardship Programme helped us reduce our water waste by half and make real savings too.
When Blossom and Berry signed up to the Water Stewardship Programme from Uisce Éireann, they tapped into bigger savings. The programme provides Irish businesses with ways to reduce their water bills at no extra cost. Register now for this 60-minute online course at water.ie. Uisce Éireann. Delivering water services for Ireland.
Give the gift of comfort and hope to those who need it this Christmas with a Trócaire gift of change. Visit trócaire.org/gifts or call 1800 408 408 to buy a gift and change a life. Trócaire, together for a just world.
Don't miss your chance to win over €10,000 with Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio. It's easy to play, it's for a great cause, and it could make your day. Grab your bingo books now at your local shop.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhenneys.com.
So, mostly cloudy for the rest of today, with scattered showers become isolated. A few may be heavy and thundery. That's not today's weather. No, that's Monday's weather. We're going to have a storm. I'll tell you more about that a little later on. Dr. Ciara Steele, general practitioner, joins me on the programme now. Ciara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Good to have you with us. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. Firstly, flu, right? Because a couple of people have said to me now, GPs, pharmacies, they're seeing quite a surge in flu, and also have highlighted that there's quite a lot of flu about in young people. What are you seeing in your practice?
Well, we actually offer flu tests in practice, so there are sentinel practices, GP practices within the county, but we actually just offer flu tests ourselves. So just on one occasion last week, we had 12 positive patients for flu A, just in one day. So it's very high prevalence at the moment. Younger people are being affected as well as older people. And really, we would encourage anybody to get vaccinated as soon as possible. There still is time. It takes about 2 weeks for vaccination to take full effect. And as well, it's good to, take other measures to prevent flu, like stay at home if sick, try probably not to go into school if your child is sick. And cough etiquette, and all the usual methods to try and prevent transmission if you actually are sick as well.
Yeah, thankfully most young people are resilient, and they will shake it off, not without discomfort, of course, but they are transmitters as well. This kind of feeds into previous conversations we've had in relation to air quality in schools. It's really a hive of potential spreading.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some studies done in the UK and Ireland where about 73% of schools are poorly ventilated. And there's things that we can do to improve that. Most of the schools depend on natural ventilation, which is open windows. And of course, on a stormy day like today or cold day in the winter, like it's very hard to open the windows all the time, and it's very hard to put that responsibility on the teachers. But to try and improve air quality in a stuffy classroom. So in a classroom with closed windows, the air flushing or the air ventilation or the fresh air getting to students is about 3.8 litres per person, whereas international recommendations are about 14 litres per minute of fresh air per person. And opening the windows, can improve air changes per hour by about 2 to 3. And we know that really to reduce transmission in a classroom, that should be about 12 air changes per hour. And air changes per hour means all the air in the room, how many times that's changed per hour to help with ventilation, to help with performance, cognition, learning, and health and safety. And the thing about influenza is it can be a benign course of infection for some people, but for some people it actually generates chronic conditions like asthma, for example.
And, I know what you're calling for, but if it was all there, it would just be running on in the background. If we had the right equipment and the right attitude, we'd just be getting on with our lives. It's not that it would be a massive imposition or a huge change in what we're doing. It would just be the right equipment in the right places, battering along with better outcomes and health for our kids.
Yeah, well, there's two methods of improving air quality. One is retrofitting and mechanical, ventilation, which is demand control. Technology is improving all the time. But there's also simple things we can do, like introduce HEPA filters into the classrooms, like the Mayor of London has done in all of the London schools. And as the Boston School project has done as well. So these are real world practical interventions that can be done with, cost effectiveness.
I must ask you about the progress on the surgical hub. I haven't spoken to you much since. The Minister for Health has taken a genuine interest, it seems, in the people of Donegal. Encouraged to hear from Mr. Michael Sugrue yesterday that a vacant consultant position had 8 applications, whereas previously, you would struggle to get one. And also the fact that the project is up on the tendering portal. Things moving in the right direction. It's not going to happen overnight, but certainly this is one of those commitments that seems to be moving forward, Ciara.
Yeah, I think we're really grateful to the Minister for Health for engaging with the data that was presented, and to sort of make a really discerning decision to place the hub in 2 locations. And I think that we need to be mindful going forward that there's a 2-year intervention or a 2-year period of implementation and actual delivery of the hub in other areas. And it's just mindful that we need to be aware of that for our location in Letterkenny, so that we drive it forward within that time frame.
And we're so close to 10, and I've covered so much. The other thing I can't talk about, we might revisit that next week if you have later in the week if you have time, Ciara.
That's absolutely fine.
All right, listen, no, I just wanted to touch on some of that more important, pressing right now stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks.
Ciara, thank you. That's Dr. Ciara Steele there, GP. We were going to speak to her about a HSE study, or a study for the HSE, that found making the weight loss drug Mounjaro available to public patients would not be value for money at its current price. So we'll tease that out, because there's going to be different views in the medical sphere in relation to that as well. A caller said, should the schools close early today to be safe rather than sorry? I think many have. To be honest with you, I don't have a list in front of me, but many made that decision, and it was as much about kids getting home than it was about them getting into school. So it's a tough call. Listen, there's just no doubt about that. Right, keep us up to date. If there's anything out there that you think we should know or should be talking about or share with fellow listeners, 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and the text number. Give us a call on 074 91 25,000. We'll be back with much more on the 9 till noon show after we take a break, and including, of course, Community Guard information coming up after 10.
Gift sets by celebrity, by budget, or from the classic collection at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. For the perfect present every time, visit mcgees.ie, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Get the job done with the right equipment delivered direct from Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Free delivery on all equipment has been extended to the Finn Valley area, including Ballybuffet, Stranorlar, Castlefin and Killygordon. With great daily and weekend deals available, call Watson Hire, Lisnen and Letterkenny on 9167777. See Facebook or visit watsonhire.ie.
Across Ireland, people are committed to securing the future of their rural communities. Our Rural Future is the government's policy that backs that commitment through investment and actions. The Department of Rural and Community Development and the Gaeltacht is now developing the next phase of our Rural Future and wants to hear your views on what matters most for rural Ireland. For more information or to share your views, go to gov.ie/consultations before December 12th, 2025. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Who's making something wonderful at Lidl this year?
Hi, I'm David Brett from Oak Park. We pride ourselves on supplying award-winning hams to Lidl each Christmas. We select Bord Bia quality assured Irish pork. We naturally smoke them using beechwood chips.
Oak Park's Bord Bia approved ham joints from $9.99. Lidl, more to value.
The Ford 261 sales event is now on at Hegarty's Ford Letterkenny. Discover incredible savings across Ford's electrified range, including the new Ford Puma Gen E, the iconic Ford Capri, and the fantastic new Ford Explorer, all with a free home charger and a free 5-year service plan, and available now with 0% finance. Call into Hegarty's Ford, Kilmaquennin Road, Letterkenny. For full details, see hegartys.com.
Celebrate the season in style with Evolve Clothing. Find festive fashion and unbeatable style at Letterkenny Retail Park or click evolveclothing.com to refresh your holiday wardrobe. Your new look is just a click away.
Get ready to celebrate Christmas with Yisk. Whether your tree needs a little extra sparkle or your windowsill is missing a festive touch, you'll find everything you need with us. Yisk,
Scandinavian sleeping and living.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics or with audiologist Darren McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning with your Highland Radio News at 10 o'clock. I'm Ryan Burley. The majority of the country is coming under an orange wind alert today as Storm Bran brings very strong to gale force southerly winds. The warning will expire at different times this evening, with Donegal being the final area to come under alert from 2 p.m. Air and sea travel are also affected, with flights and ferry services already impacted. Gary Martin, Director of Public Services at Donegal County Council, gave an update on the local impact.
We're currently in a period of yellow wind warning from 6 a.m. this morning, and that'll run until tonight. But in the midst of that, for Donegal, the height of the wind event in Donegal will be from 2 p.m. today until 9 p.m. tonight. So that's the time of particular concern that we have, and that has been evolving and moving out over the last 24 hours. We also have that red marine warning that's in place until 8 p.m. tonight. That effectively means
a Donegal woman is due to stand trial in 2030 after being arrested on suspicion of attempting to bring drugs into the UK. The woman, aged in her 40s, pleaded not guilty when she appeared in Isleworth Crown Court in London yesterday. It's reported the arrest took place at Heathrow Airport on November 7th last, when she was found in possession of an undisclosed amount of cocaine and was later charged with the alleged importation of Class A drugs. Her trial is now due to start on January 7th, 2030. A 27-year-old man has been charged to court in Omagh with 2 counts of breach of a sexual offences prevention order. The man was arrested in Maguire's Bridge yesterday and is due to appear in Omagh Magistrates Court today. He was also arrested on suspicion of possession of a Class A controlled drug and being concerned in the supply of a Class A controlled drug. He was later bailed to allow for further police inquiries to be concluded. Councillors in Inishowen have been left frustrated at the draft publication for remediation of social housing. A recent meeting of Inishowen Municipal District heard frustrations that the area was being left behind in the wake of the pyrite remediation scheme in Leinster and Dublin. There were also concerns about the time it is taking for appeals applicants to receive responses from the board. Councillor Albert Doherty has said it's unsatisfactory for people in the area.
And I was joined with other members that were totally frustrated at the delay in the draft publication of remediation for our social housing. That's been something that's been awaited far too long by our tenants and promised far too long ago that such a publication was imminent. And in relation to recent extension of pirate remediation in the Leinster and Dublin area, it's unsatisfactory that we're being left behind.
There have been calls for an increase in services to develop Convoy's growth as it becomes a commuter town for Letterkenny. Councillor Martin Harley says a balance needs to be struck between the number of houses being built and the available amenities for residents there. However, given Convoy's close proximity to Letterkenny, demand for housing is growing. Councillor Harley says it's vital that the town responds to the need of its residents.
It's grand and it's great. We all love to see new housing projects coming on board, no matter where they are. But realise that we need all the other facilities that wrap around that, because if you're putting extra people into an area, you have to make sure there's enough school spaces. You have to make sure that there's doctors and all the medical that needed for the area.
An animal welfare charity based in Donegal says they are unsure how they will cope coming up to Christmas. In a social media post, Animals in Need Donegal says they have been inundated with surrender requests for both cats and dogs, but every foster and boarding place is now full. The group says its priority remains that dogs in the local pound, all of which managed to take out last week, though more are expected to arrive before Christmas. The group are appealing that instead of a dog this Christmas, a hamper with pet supplies is bought instead. This is due to animals needing a calm environment to settle into a new home, something not realistic during the festive period. And in the weather, Storm Bram will bring very windy or stormy conditions to Ireland today. The strongest winds will be near coast, where high tides can coincide with onshore winds. Some coastal flooding will occur too. Persistent and heavy outbreaks of rain may lead to flooding where ground is already saturated. Very mild with highest temperatures of 12 to 15 degrees. That's all from the newsroom for now. We'll be back with headlines at 11 o'clock.
The obituary notices for this Tuesday morning, December 9th. The death has taken place of Helen Mullen, née Graham, 2 Marion Park, Strabane. Reposing at her home today from 6 o'clock. Funeral leaving her home on Thursday morning at 10:25 for Requiem Mass in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane at 11 o'clock. Cremation afterwards in Lakeland's crematorium. Donations in lieu of flowers please to the Foyle Hospice, Kev Quigley Funeral Directors, Newton Place, Strabane. Family time please from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has occurred of Tina Duffy, née McGee, Cottage Farm, Newton Cunningham. Removal from Kelly's funeral home, Oakfield Refote, today at 2 o'clock, going to her late residence to repose for wake until 10 o'clock. Wake is today from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock and tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. Family time on the morning of the funeral please. Funeral cortege will leave her late residence on Thursday at 10:30 in the morning, going to All Saints Church in Newton Cunningham for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. The Mass can be viewed online at newtonclayparish.com. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Kelly's Funeral Directors, Oakfield Refoe, or to the link on the website. One-way system is in place. Please follow the signs. The death has taken place of Philip McLaughlin Phillips, Dunree, Linsford, Buncrana. Phillips' remains are reposing at his late residence. Leaving there at 10:30 tomorrow, going to the Star of the Sea Church, Desert Egny, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, with burial in the adjoining cemetery. Mass can be viewed live on the parish YouTube channel. House private from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu of flowers to the Alzheimer's Association, care of any family member. The death has taken place of Joe McGranahan, 4 Tullacourt Drive, Strabane. Reposing at his home. Funeral leaving his home tomorrow at 11:20 for Requiem Mass in the Sacred Heart Church, Derry Road, Strabane at 12 noon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has occurred of Tara Scanlon, formerly of Drumavish, Crossroads, Killygordon. Reposing at the home of her father Eddie Scanlon at Drumavish, Crossroads, Killygordon today from 12 noon until 9 o'clock. Funeral leaving from there tomorrow morning at 10 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon. Interment in the adjoining churchyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed live on the YouTube channel. Donations in lieu of flowers, if so desired, directly to the Donegal Hospice. Family on the morning of the funeral, please. The death has taken place of Edward McCusker, 2 Butcher Street, Lifford. Requiem Mass is ongoing in St Patrick's Church, Murlog, Lifford. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Charlie Callahan, Balliere, Ramelton. Reposing at the residence of his son Johnny and Tara Callahan, Gortnavern, Coolboy, Letterkenny. Requiem Mass tomorrow at 11 o'clock in St Peter's Church, Milford. Burial afterwards in Tully Cemetery. Mass can be viewed on Church Services TV. Family time from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The death has taken place of Annie Marie Nan McKinley, Nee Dunleavy, Kilbray Dunfanhy. Reposing at her home. Funeral service in Holy Trinity Church, Hornhead Road, Dunfanhy tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Burial afterwards in Clondahorky Cemetery. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu if desired to the Creasa Day Centre, care of any family member or James Harkin, Funeral Director. And the death has occurred of Andy McCallion, Ishkaheen Muff. Andy's remains are reposing at the home of his son Seamus in Ishkaheen Muff. Funeral from there this morning at 10:30 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Ishkaheen, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time before the funeral this morning, please. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin, Funeral Director. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Smart employers choose One for All. Reward your staff tax-free now up to €1,500 with gift cards that can be spent directly in-store and online with thousands of retailers on thousands of brands. Give cards physically or digitally, it's gifting made simple. Order One for All gift cards now at any post office or online at onpost.com/business gifting. Terms and conditions apply. The One for All gift card is issued by GVS Prepaid Europe Limited and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
10:10, welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Coming up in the next 10 minutes, Garda Grania Doherty will be joining me with this week's Community Garda information, where you hear the very latest appeals and information from An Garda Síochána Donegal here first every week on the 9 till noon show. If you want to watch that and the rest of the today's show, if you're at home, open up the YouTube app on your smart TV or your Fire Stick, dial in Highland Radio Ireland, and there we are. You can watch it. Or you can watch us across Facebook and on X. Is the Highland Radio concert going ahead tonight? Asks a listener. No, it isn't, because the change to the weather warning is such that it would be irresponsible for us to ask people to either travel to perform at the concert or make their way to it. So no, it's not on tonight. But the good news is it's only deferred for one day. The concert is going ahead tomorrow night. So if you have a ticket for tonight, you can just take that ticket with you tomorrow night. No problem whatsoever. If tomorrow night doesn't suit you, and I hope the absolute majority of you it does, you can also use that ticket for the Birthday Bash concert, which is in March, I believe, which is going to be another great show. Or if you can't make it at all, give us a ring here at the radio station, 07491 25,000. If you've booked a hotel package to stay at the hotel tonight, that is also transferable to tomorrow night. If you can just ring up the Mount Errigal Hotel and reference that with them, they'll make sure that that's all good for you. The Young at Heart Christmas party at the Radisson Hotel in Letterkenny tonight is cancelled. This due to the weather warning, and that party will now be held at the same time on Tuesday the 16th of December. So that's the Young at Heart Christmas party there. Greg, I just went out the back of the house and it's actually warmer outside than it is in the house. Well, I haven't lit a fire yet. I noticed that one day a few weeks ago, too, I could feel the warm air when I opened the door. If it wasn't a bit drizzly, I could nearly sit out the back. I hope that's not a bad omen for the storm. It's just where the weather's coming from and where it originates. This is a southerly storm, and generally, even at this time of year, if you get weather whipped up from the south, it brings warmer temperatures. So today, quite mild, 12 to 15 degrees expected today. So it's I'm not a meteorologist nor would I ever pretend to be, but the temperature is more indicative of where the storm is coming rather than the storm itself. A caller says, how important is taking vitamin D from October till April as a precaution to getting the flu? Well, vitamin D, I don't know. Vitamin D is good for you, though. So, and the more resilient you are, the better. So, I think any vitamin that you might be deficient in, you're better to be not deficient in. So I'd imagine the obvious answer might be yes. There are only 2 men working for Air as part of their crew. There's no crew. This is why faults are not being dealt with. I don't know if you mean across the country or just in the county or what have you, but if a business is being impacted and, anyway. Morning, Greg. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I watched the show on YouTube. The volume on the TV has to go up louder to hear the talking segments of the show, but the moment you go to the ads, the volume could blow you out of the room. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or something you can control, but the volume variation is very high. Well, listen, let me explain. Thank you for that. That's really positive feedback. The stream that goes out to our social media is just a raw stream. So if I can be a bit quiet at times and I can lean back, right? So on my display here, it's at 0. Okay, so if I lean forward, then it sort of pops up to 6. So there is a variation there. The ad breaks generally run at 6. So if I've been quiet and I'm sort of talking away like that and then go to the ads, it is going to boost up. On radio, it's not so bad because it's compensated for. It goes through a system and an Optimod, but the stream is a raw stream to the online. So it's something I just have to be a little bit more conscious of. And it is something I can have a positive impact on that. So listen, thank you really very much for your feedback. I like feedback, good or bad, because it's never ignored. We have an appointment at Letterkenny Hospital this morning. Just wonder if appointments are going ahead. Normally the way it works with appointments, isn't it, Caroline, that the hospital will contact people directly? You can't throw out a blanket thing there because there are various reasons and departments and importance and urgencies and stuff. So it's not like jury service or schools or events. I think the hospital would contact you if there is a change to your appointment. If I'm wrong in saying so, please let me know. I don't want to give out any poor information. Anne McIntyre of Cavan Hill in Lifford. Happy birthday, Anne. Lots of love coming in from the in-laws, John and Mary McIntyre. So happy birthday to you, Anne. And by the way, of course, we're not all serious on this show. We do have a great mix. If you listen throughout the course of the 3 hours, we've got a great mix of various content from the very latest news and on issues to things that are important to you, more light-hearted stuff. So we do welcome your requests as well. We generally get to them around this time of the day. And of course, from January the 5th, is it the 5th that we come back? January the 5th or 6th, Caroline? The 5th or 6th? Anyway, it's the Monday. We're coming back to a new show. It's the same show, but it's a new show, the 5th. And it's the Greg Hughes show. We went 10 to 1. The 10 to 1 show, then the 9 to 12 couldn't go in another time slot. So it's the Greg Hughes show coming back. We have been on the Monjero a little bit over the Christmas period. We're coming back as a 2-hour show. But for factors, with some slight variation, we're not actually really losing a great deal of time. It's not an hour. It's much less than an hour. And of course, it's part of a new and exciting daytime schedule. So this show will remain the same. We'll say the same level of commitment to you and the issues and the news. It's just that we will deliver it all in 2 hours. So you won't be disappointed in that regard. We'll get as much out as we do now. It'll just be probably less waffling like I'm doing now, but I just wanted to reference this because I haven't really since the launch. So we're coming back. Of course, I've had contacts from people saying, well, why are you going down to 2 and this, that and that? listen, it's just really, we're one of the last 3-hour shows in the country as well. It has to be said. Also, it has to be said that Sean Doherty's show originally started as a 2-hour show. So it's really sort of back to the future or forward to the past or whatever way you want to describe it. But listen, you're not going to miss out on anything. We'll have the community guide information. We'll have all the regular features that you enjoy. We'll be able to still platform the issues that are important to you. We're just going to tighten things up a little bit. But what it does do is it frees up a little bit of my time as well for us to step into the podcast scene a little bit more from this show's perspective. And it means we'll be able to do some longer form interviews that you'll really enjoy. You know, we do know you love the human interest stuff. We do know you love listening to people's stories, maybe hearing from someone in a different way. Let's just say, hypothetically, a politician. How about interviewing a politician, but not about politics, just literally about what life is like working in that job? Just an example off the top of my head. I'm not saying we're doing that, but that's the kind of stuff that we can dedicate a bit more time to, because more and more of you are listening to podcasts as well. So we are linear, but also digital, and it's kind of a mix. And hopefully you'll come along on that ride with us as well. So that's all coming up in January. Of course, John Bresson then runs from 11 to 1, David James 1:30 to 3:30, and then Anya and Danny have a new show, Taking You Home. It's a new drive time show, which will be exciting, something new for you to listen to. But again, you know, you go, well, change, but change is fine because there was a drive time show before, so it's a little bit of going back to where we were at before as well. So you know, we all managed the last time, if that makes sense. But it's actually exciting, isn't it? 2 new voices for you on the radio. And then, of course, Ivan with his Power Hour from 5. Importantly, the evening news returns back to 5:30. It was always a popular slot. Good to get back to 5:30. So we'll have the news, sport and obituaries, 5:30 to 6. And the main lunchtime news, of course, for you is at 1 o'clock. Our main morning news now as well, by the way, and this change has been implemented for a couple of weeks, starts at 8 a.m. And it's just trying to catch you at the right time when you're getting ready in the car, whatever it might be. Right, so as to say, for this show, exciting times, the exact same show, the exact same team, just a little bit tighter, but also stepping from the linear from the scheduled into the podcast world as well, with some very exciting, interesting interviews that you'll be able to listen to at your leisure. Right, I'm going to take a break. Good luck if you're playing the bingo today. We'll be back with Garda Grania after these messages.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday, the 9th of December. You're playing on the brown sheet for the daily prize of €800. The reference number is S7. It's game number 50. The numbers are 1, 6, 30, 63, 50, 73, 22, 46, 84, and finally 3. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Escape the Christmas chaos this holiday season. Find all the fun you need right here at Century Complex. We have the ultimate lineup in thrilling movies, tasty food and drinks, plus hours of action in Century Play, and our awesome indoor Century Golf. One complex, endless festive fun. Call 074 91 or visit centurycinemas.ie to plan your visit.
Glencar Spar, your day starts and ends here. Open Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. Enjoy fresh coffee, hot deli favourites, chilled treats, and all your grocery essentials. Plus, get Christmas ready with festive must-haves, family hampers, and even special hampers for your pets. Convenience, value, and holiday cheer all in one stop at Glencar Spar.
Brian McCormick here to let you know we're celebrating 30 years, supporting every match, mile and movement with you. We opened in 1995, so when you spend €30 or more, we'll give you a 1995 voucher to use off your next purchase. From sports footwear to your local football top, we've got everything to keep you moving, and this is our way of saying thank you. Here's to the next 30 years.
At Londis, we wish our customers in Donegal a very happy Christmas. We know what locals want because we are local like you, even as local as Lough Swilly on a beautiful crisp winter's day. Happy Christmas from Londis.
Chanel, Flowerbomb, Lancôme, Giorgio Armani, Paco Rabanne. Where else but at McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny, this Christmas. Sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, monitoring homes and businesses in the northwest for intruder, fire, panic and medical signals. Call Sheridan Security on 91 26025.
Yes, indeed. 22 minutes past 10 this Tuesday, the 9th of December. Garda Grania Doherty's with me. Hi, Grania. How are you keeping?
Good morning, Greg. I'm doing great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. Quite a bit to get through between appeals and information and answering some questions out there as well. And also, too, what Garda you have to say about the weather that's coming throughout the course of the day. But let's start with those appeals and we'll go to St Johnston first, Grania.
Yes, Gardaí are investigating an incident of criminal damage. This occurred in the area of Clashygowan, St Johnston, on Tuesday the 2nd of December in and around 7:20pm. So a wheelie bin outside a property in that area was set alight around that time. The fire services attended the scene and thankfully the fire hadn't spread. We're appealing to anybody who might have observed any type of suspicious activity in that area around that time to contact Gardaí in Letterkenny on 9167100. If there was anybody in that area with a dash cam between 7pm and 8pm on that date, we're asking them, as always, please make that footage available to us. And in relation for this appeal and all of our appeals today, the Garda Confidential line, the number for them is 1800 666 111.
We can't talk about any ongoing investigations, nor would we, but we've had this conversation a couple of times on this programme, and unfortunately we've seen the very tragic reality of homes being targeted, right, in different ways. You know, will the penny ever drop that whatever the motivation that these people might have for these types of activities close to houses, that the consequences can be absolutely tragic and huge?
Of course they can. They have been in the past many's a time, you know, and thankfully, again, as I said, you know, that fire was contained. The fire services put the fire out, but could have had a whole different outcome, you know, if that fire had spread further afield. And people need to take that on board, you know, when they're carrying out these types of activities, just how serious the outcome and how tragic the outcome could be.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go to Cashel Park in Letterkenny, Grania.
Yes, this is an incident of criminal damage. This happened in Cashel Park, Letterkenny, on Thursday the 4th of December at about 8pm. So in around that time, the residents heard a bang and the glass in the front door at their house was shattered. So we're appealing to anybody who might have travelled in that area with a dash cam around that time to contact us. If anybody witnessed the incident, of course, we wish to speak to them, or anybody with any relevant information are asked to contact Gardaí in Letterkenny on 9167100.
Now, investigations ongoing into a single vehicle collision in Carndonagh.
Yes, so this single vehicle collision happened on the R244 at Carrickafodden, Carndonagh on Tuesday the 2nd of December at around 10:10am. So the vehicle involved was an ambulance. The driver and the passenger sustained injuries, none of which are believed to be life-threatening in nature, thankfully. We're appealing to anyone who may have witnessed this collision to contact Gardaí in Buncrana on 9320540. And as always, as with most of our appeals, we're looking for dash cam footage from that area if anybody can assist with that.
Road traffic collision being investigated too in Newtown Cunningham.
Yes, this collision happened on the N13 at Bohullion Lower, Newtown Cunningham, on Saturday the 6th of December, shortly before midnight in around 11:55pm. So two vehicles, a black Lexus and a silver Lexus, had been involved in this collision. Both vehicles sustained substantial damage, and when the Gardaí arrived, no drivers or passengers were at the scene, and both vehicles were seized. So we're appealing to anybody who might have observed this collision to contact Gardaí in Letterkenny on 9167100. Anybody who may have travelled along that route, the N13 in the Newtown Cunningham area, between 11:30pm and 12:30 at night, with a dash cam, we're asking them to make that footage available to us also, please.
And of course, someone's landed home without a car, or a couple of people have.
They have, of course, yeah. And listen, the people involved in this collision possibly also sustained injuries, you know, and if there's anybody that has somebody like that arrived home with injuries, we'd ask them maybe to come and speak to us also, because just in relation to the manner of driving, you know, we get a lot of reports, not in relation to this particular incident. We can't say what the driving was like, but there are a lot of reports of dangerous driving in that particular area. And we'd also appeal to anybody who has somebody in the house who does get involved in this type of activity on the roads. Please do even come speak to the Gardaí so that we can talk to them, you know, in private.
There's a tough love potential here, really, you know, because how does it end?
It does, yeah. And look, not everybody's aware of what their young people, their sons, daughters, brothers, sisters are at when they're out in the roads. We know that. But some people are, and they're fully aware of what their family members or friends are involved in. And speak to them yourself. But if you feel you're not getting through to them, please do come talk to us, and maybe we can have a word with them, because we want to save lives in the roads. That's the main aim of the game here.
That's the priority, isn't it? A third collision being investigated, this time in Inishowen.
Yes, this collision happened in a car park at St Mary's Road, Buncrana, on Wednesday the 3rd of December, shortly after 5:15 in the evening. A white Peugeot partner van had been parked up in that car park. It's believed to have been damaged when a grey Volkswagen Caddy van reversed into it, and the Volkswagen van then left the car park. So we're appealing to anybody who might have travelled in the area of St Mary's Road or within that general area within Buncrana town between 5:10pm and 5:30pm with a dash cam to make that footage available to us. Any relevant information can be passed to Gardaí in Buncrana on 932 0540. And as you often mention it actually when we do these types of appeals, and rightly so, the person who was driving that Volkswagen van may not even have realised at the time that happened. They might get home, they might have realised afterwards that they had scratched something or something had happened to their van. Just we're asking them, please, too, if that is the case, to come in and speak to Gardaí.
Always better to be proactive in those situations, I would imagine, because it sounds like there's good information out there. Now, Donna Marie was up at the high-profile cross-border launch of the road safety campaign. It's been ongoing for quite some time. And again, this is about trying to eliminate serious injury and collisions on our roads. That's the motivation. Guards aren't on commission for this stuff, right? This is just about making sure that there aren't any seats at the table empty at Christmas or into the new year. So just recap what the operation entails then.
Yeah, so in Garda Síochána are conducting a dedicated road traffic enforcement operation throughout the festive period. It began on the 1st of this month, December, and it's going to continue until the 5th of January. I know figures were released yesterday, and I know you did report on those already, so I didn't bring those with me in relation to all of the detections so far, the first week of that campaign. So a joint Garda Síochána PSNI road safety briefing did take place yesterday morning at Bridge End at the border crossing, and Superintendent David Kelly was there. And he spoke about the importance of everybody working together to ensure safety on our roads. And as part of our road safety campaign, we will be working in conjunction with the PSNI to try and prevent fatal or serious injury collisions over the Christmas New Year period. And I was tuned in actually to what Superintendent Kelly was talking about, and I thought it was very interesting. The comments about clubs and memberships, and these funerals following a fatal collision on a road, and rightly so. There's guards of honours and everybody's out in their colours, their club colours and this and that, and he made a good point. That's after the fact, but maybe within clubs, membership societies, speak to your membership and talk to them, and out of concern, talk to them about safety on the road, and we could all improve our behaviours on the road. Everybody gets into bad habits on the roads, and we're asking everybody, please work with us, and together we'll try and save lives on the roads. It's not a job for us solely. Everybody has to take responsibility themselves also for their own behaviour on the roads. So we are out on the roads conducting high visibility checkpoints, MIT checkpoints, that's mandatory intoxicant testing checkpoints, and patrols. So here in Donegal over the past week alone, 5 people have been arrested on suspicion of drink driving offences. 4 have been arrested on suspicion of drug driving. And out of those 9 drivers, 3 were already disqualified from driving.
Which is quite remarkable too, because this is a snapshot. You can't be everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But this is a snapshot of the activity. 9 people on suspicion of drink or drug driving. A third of those shouldn't have been driving at all in the first place.
Yeah, it's frightening. It's frightening to think that that's happening on the roads, but it's happening.
But there's a lot of other enforcement going on as well that we don't hear about in terms of car seizures, etc. I don't think people might not necessarily know the frequency of seizures, but it is a power the Gardaí do exercise quite a lot.
They do, and they seize vehicles for a number of reasons. So over the past week, 21 vehicles have been seized in Donegal, and that's for various reasons. No insurance, no tax, no NCT. 4 of those 21 vehicles were seized under Section 109A of the Road Traffic Act 1961. I think it's important just to point out what that legislation is about. So we can seize a vehicle which has been used, is being used, or is likely to be used in a dangerous manner in any place that may be dangerous to persons present or likely to be present. So dangerous driving instances, this legislation is put into practice, the vehicle seized, and then in order to get your vehicle back, you have to apply to the judge of the district court. So this legislation is enforced regularly in a bid to keep everybody safe on the roads here in Donegal. So fixed charge penalty notices have been issued and are being issued for various offences such as speeding, driving on a learner permit while unaccompanied. Under the Clancy Amendment, you must be accompanied if you're driving on a learner permit. The non-wearing of seatbelts and using a mobile phone while driving. This is one of the most busiest periods on Irish roads, the run-up to Christmas. And it's also one of the periods during which road users are at the highest risk of being involved in a fatal or serious injury road traffic collision. So we're appealing to everybody who's taken to the roads this Christmas and over the New Year period, please slow down, take extra care and give driving your full attention. Put the mobile phone in the glove compartment, put it in silent, just keep it out of reach. Don't be tempted to look at your phone while driving. And wear your seatbelt. Make sure your passengers are wearing their seatbelt also.
Yeah, and when there are specific activities by An Garda Síochána, or when there are particular campaigns, it's based off statistics, and never is a good time to lose anyone. But I think people that have lost people around Christmas know that it can be particularly tough. You factor into the fact that the roads are very busy, a lot of traffic about, people are rushing here and there, there's school buses out there, there's pedestrians, there's scooterists, there's cyclists. We all have to share this space. None of us want to be that person that's not there at Christmas for our loved ones, and none of us want our Christmas ruined forever by being responsible for taking the life of somebody else. And that is why we do this. It's immeasurable. We don't know. Does it save a life? I'm sure it does, but we don't know because we just simply don't know how many people will die. What we do know, that if we don't change our habits, people will. So that's why we do this. That's why the Gardaí do this. That's why the Gardaí don't want to be knocking on someone's door, or none of us want to be that person opening the door. But sadly, unless we do change our behaviours, that is going to happen. And it happens all too frequently in every parish in the county. It's happened at one time or another, and this is all about trying to ensure it doesn't happen again. So as Grania says, quoting the superintendent, now is the time to step in, celebrate their life whilst they're alive, and celebrate their life by guiding them or giving them advice, or if they need to be spoken to by the Gardaí, being spoken to by the Gardaí, rather than, I'm not a huge fan of young people having to do these guards of honours, especially in certain circumstances. I've had my own views in relation to that in the past. Let's avoid that conversation by not having to have it happen. And it's not just young people as well, of course, and it's not just drivers, it's cyclists, motorcyclists, scooter users and pedestrians as well. Right, yes, of course, please.
Before you finish there, we also, just came into my head there, there's a fantastic Lifesaver project, and that's delivered by the Roads Policing Unit. So if any clubs or societies or schools, wish to have this project delivered, they can contact even any of the larger stations, Letterkenny, Milford, Ballyshannon or Buncrana, and we can arrange that for them to have the Roads Policing Unit call out to do that presentation.
And you can have your car, and it can be done up to the nines. You can polish it, you can put rims on it. It just has to be compliant with the road safety laws, and you have to drive it in a compliant way. That's exactly, it. Yeah. No one's trying to take anyone's car off them or say don't be proud of your car, or don't have fun, or don't show off. But I mean, visually show off, right, with how nice your car is. It's just drive it in a way whereby you and it get home safe. Right, so obviously we're talking about the orange wind warning. It's orange at the moment for obvious reasons, again, not to startle, but just to remind people, again, it's about saving lives, saving injury. What's the message from An Garda Síochána, Grania?
Yes, well, I don't think there's a listener out there that isn't aware of this today. The orange wind warning, they've heard nothing else, I suppose, for the last day or two, but there is an orange wind warning in place. Met Éireann have issued that. It's changed now slightly this morning. It's now in place between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. today for Donegal. So we're advising the public, keep an eye on Met Éireann's updates, in case the weather warnings change over the course of the day, or that the timings might change.
All is entitled.
And the public are advised to take extra care on the roads if you must travel. Expect surface water, possible debris. You could have fallen branches, trees. You could find that a trampoline could come out in front of you, a wheelie bin. Expect the unexpected. There could be poor visibility. Slow down. Leave extra time for your journey if you must go out today. And please take extra care on any exposed roads or bridges. So a red warning is in place also for the coastal areas. Keep away from coastal edges, marinas and piers. We're just asking people, please do not put yourself or any of the emergency services at risk. Keep local emergency numbers to hand. So we, the Gardaí, may be reached 24/7 in Letterkenny on 9167100. Milford on 9153060, Buncrana on 9320540, and Ballyshannon on 071985 8530, and as always 999 or 112 is your go-to in the event of an emergency. We're asking people, don't hesitate. If you need our assistance today, or you know of somebody who's vulnerable, maybe you're alone and they need our help, please do contact us and we'll do our best to get to them.
Yeah, I know the weather operates different at sea than it does on land, but if you look at the Fallon Peninsula, it's orange surrounded by red, right?
Yeah.
And the whole county is actually, and also our friends and neighbours in Derry, Tyrone, and much of Ulster, except for sort of southeast Ulster, they're in a yellow warning. The rest of us all in orange, which will please some less than others. Right, okay. Now, questions from last week. Could you please ask Garda Grania to emphasise the responsibility of pedestrians to wear luminous or white clothing when out and about at dusk to dawn twilight? So it's not a question as such, it's a frustration. And I suppose they're looking at you to give some advice, guidance,
well, this
or a
is
stern finger wagging.
Yeah, well, we regularly
no better woman
do.
for that.
We don't. We regularly do highlight the importance of wearing high-vis clothing. Sorry, I can understand the frustration of that caller, because I'm sure you've come across it yourself. People out wearing black clothing at the side of the road. It could be wet, foggy, and you're nearly on them before you see them. So we're asking people, please do wear your high-vis vest, armbands. Make sure that you can be seen clearly by drivers when out on the roads. And I see a post there yesterday or the day before by Donegal County Council. They and the Donegal Road Safety Working Group, they're also encouraging everybody to stay visible on the darker winter days. So to support public safety, they have now made high visibility vests available, and they're available at the Donegal County Council Public Service Centres in Dunlow, Donegal Town, Milford, Letterkenny, Carndonagh, and at the County House in Lifford for free while their supplies last. We have a small number of them, I think, also left at Letterkenny Garda Station also. If anybody wants to call in there for one, they're free to do that. So it is it's important to be seen, to be safe and be seen. So we're also urging drivers, please remain alert and be on the lookout for vulnerable road users.
Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, though, you just see it every morning.
Well, you do, yes, it's commonplace, yeah.
It's just such a gamble. It's like a gamble. Because it's so hard to see people in black clothes with headlights in your eyes, rain, wind. It's just so hard to see people. And it's just such a calculated gamble, because everybody knows at this stage, right, that if you can't be seen, there's likelihood you could be knocked over. But people still, every single day, risk it. But anyway.
But look, it's for such a simple thing to do, it would take you 2 seconds to throw on your high-vis. And I think there's maybe a thing there too with, I know, at my own house, the teenagers, they don't even want to put on coats. Going to school, never mind a high-vis, that's the problem. But pack one onto their bag. Parents, please do pack one, even a few armbands. They mightn't mind the armbands so much, but you do see it when you're out in the roads. It makes the difference. It's like the difference in night and day when you come on a pedestrian and they have the high-vis on.
Reduce the risk, and that's it. Right, Grania, thank you very much indeed. I really do appreciate your time. That's Garda Grania Doherty from the Letterkenny Garda Station. That was this week's Community Garda information. It's available on our podcast and on our Facebook pages, and the Gardaí Facebook page a little later on. And it's back with you live after the news next Tuesday.
The 9 till noon show with McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, offering a great range of digital cameras and binoculars for Christmas. McGee's, the photographic experts, where the best costs less.
'Twas the countdown to Christmas, and all through the house, everyone wishing for a National Trust Day out. But to where, you ask? Well, tell you we will. Adventures await, pure joy, sheer thrill. Ruallan Gardens Yuletide Market returns, with Mount Stewart's festive trail, great family fun. For a Georgian Christmas, it's Castle Ward, and the Argery's Twilight Market is one to look toward. So wrap up warm and you can rely. For great Christmas fun, search National Trust NI.
Do you know Claire Clothing, Letterkenny, has moved to 54 Upper Main Street, right beside Brian McCormick's? And we are now exclusive stockists of Bugatti women's wear at Claire Clothing, Upper Main Street, Letterkenny.
Who's making something wonderful at Lidl this year?
Hi, I'm David Brett from Oak Park. We pride ourselves on supplying award-winning hams to Lidl each Christmas. We select Bord Bia quality assured Irish pork. We naturally smoke them using beechwood chips.
Oak Park's Bord Bia approved ham joints from $9.99. Lidl, more to value.
PTSB has Ireland's lowest rate for personal loans, from 25 to 75,000 euro. So from new wheels to home renovations, we're here for your next highlight. Apply today at ptsb.ie. PTSB, altogether more human. Lowest rate source ccpc.ie, 18 September 2025, excluding green loans. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply, subject to affordability assessment. Security may be required. Over 18s only. Warning, if you do not meet the repayments on your loan, your account will go into arrears. This may affect your credit rating, which may limit your ability to access credit, a hire purchase agreement, a consumer hire agreement, or a BNPL agreement in the future. Permanent TSB PLC trading as PTSB is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Ben Sweeney Euronics in the Super Value Shopping Centre Dunlow is proudly celebrating 30 years serving the community. Call in today for great value across our full range of TVs, laptops, air fryers, home appliances and gas cookers and hobs, all with a free gas offer. You'll also find great deals throughout our Letterkenny store. Ben Sweeney Euronics, we deliver, we install, we care. Shop in store or online at bensweeney.ie.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
Now, you're very welcome back to the programme. I'm joined on it now by Dr. Maureen Ryan. Good morning, Maureen. How are you keeping?
Good morning, Greg. Very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this morning, HICWA, the Health Information and Quality Authority, they're launching a public consultation on their latest draft health technology assessment of immunisation against respiratory syncytial virus, RSV. I always call it RSV.
Me too.
For good reason now. Maureen, so what is this study about, or this consultation about, sorry?
So RSV it's a lower respiratory infection. It affects the lungs and the upper airways. And for most people, it's self-limiting. They don't need to attend the doctor. But occasionally it can cause very serious lung infections, so pneumonia or bronchiolitis, and particularly can affect young children, especially small babies, and also older adults are at risk. So the Minister has asked us to do a health technology assessment and to assess different immunisation strategies for these at-risk groups. So we've done that and pulled together all of the international evidence on the strategies that are available, on the use of them in other countries, on the information around the clinical benefits in terms of decreasing the risk of severe disease and decreasing the risk of hospitalisation, the evidence on safety. We've also looked at the cost, and then also whether that represents a good use of HSE resources, and also how the HSE can organise itself in order to implement these immunisation strategies. So pulling all of that information together, we're putting it out to consultation today so that anybody who has an interest in the area or expertise can see what we have done and can comment on that. And then we'll finalise the report once we have the input from the consultation and provide it to the Minister as advice. And then she will make a decision then as to whether we will implement these immunisation strategies in Ireland or not.
In the decision-making process, what weight will be given to the public consultation element of it?
So the public consultation, from our perspective, I suppose it's twofold. One is the transparency aspect. So it puts it out there and allows people to see what we are putting into this report that will then go to the Minister and gives them the opportunity to comment. So sometimes it'll be commentary, and sometimes we'll get commentary from members of the public, which helps to frame, I suppose, kind of what the impact of the disease is for patients and for their families, and we can reflect that in the report. Other times people will pick up, that we have there's some information that they think would be relevant to include in the report, and they'll provide us with that, and then we'll check that out and add that in as well if it makes sense, if it's validated, and we can add it to the report. So that's effectively what we do during the consultation process and the updates to the report.
Now, I haven't seen this yet, right? But I will take an interest in it. For me, really, though, it comes down to, and is this information available? If we spend this money, 50 or 60 million euro, to immunise all infants over 5 years, and also 70 million euro to immunise people aged 80 or plus. So, if we do immunise them, actually, if we don't immunise them, what life loss are we talking versus immunising? Because that really is the factor to me. Money is irrelevant, especially with the amount of money this country's taking in 1 month in corporation tax. So really, I'm interested in how many lives would be saved, how many hospitalizations would be avoided with these programs.
Okay, so if we take it with hospitalizations first, we have about 2,000 hospitalizations a year, and probably about 80% of those are in small children under the age of 1 year. And also those hospitalizations in small children, they tend to be concentrated during the RSV season. It runs from about September, October to February, March. And the greatest majority of those hospitalizations happen in the last quarter of the year. So October, November, December put big pressure on the hospitals in terms of, I suppose, the risk of overcrowding. Then that has impacts for scheduled care and unscheduled care. So, other children's operations, for example, may need to be postponed. And there's a risk of hospital acquired infection, and it challenges the delivery of safe and effective care. And then in terms of hospitalizations in older adults, then there's a few hundred hospitalizations in older adults that occur during that time period. In terms of the effectiveness of the interventions in avoiding hospitalizations, it's probably about 80%. So 4 out of 5 of those hospitalizations may not happen if all of the group are immunized, but you probably won't get uptake of 100% generally.
No, the line seems to have dropped there. I'm not sure if Storm Bram is having an impact. I'll give it a moment here to see if our connection with Dr. Maureen Ryan reconnects. So you can have your say. Yes, you are there. Sorry, Maureen. I know it just glitched a little bit.
I am.
So it's not possible, though, to put what then per hospitalisation, what is the fatality rate?
So it's actually, I suppose, in terms of, as I said, the biggest burden is in small children, and actually mortality is very low. It's very, very small numbers, probably, I suppose maybe occurring in somebody who is very unwell anyway, maybe who is infected with RSV. So we're talking about like last year, there were no deaths at all in Ireland. The year before, we're talking about very, very small numbers. So small, actually, we're not allowed to report them. So if anything is less than five,
yeah.
we're not allowed to give the number. And that's down to the care that is provided in our paediatric hospitals, in terms of the care and the expertise that's provided by healthcare staff. But it still means that, you have like a small baby who's in hospital. And if there isn't an ICU admission, you're talking about 3 days in hospital on average. And if there's an ICU admission, you're talking about 7 or 8 days in hospital. Yeah. So it is substantial, the impact that it has for a family.
It's just, I don't, it just feels like this is coming at us in waves now, right? Because we had the decision not to use the enhanced flu jab because of money, effectively. There is speculation, another conversation now about, whether or not Monjero should be paid for. And it just seems that we're as rich as we've ever been, even though maybe some people may not feel that, Maureen. But now we're putting sort of a cost per hospitalisation almost, or per life, or per quality of life. And it just feels like we're getting into a very sort of a clinical space where the public's been brought into this conversation as well.
So I suppose the way we look at it is that, there's a fixed budget. The hospital system has a fixed budget. And, while you're right, we are, relatively speaking, we're a rich country, but there's still is a fixed budget for the HSE, because obviously there are competing priorities, other priorities like housing and all the other things that we're all very familiar with. So there is a fixed budget for the HSE. And then when it comes to spending that fixed budget, these are complex and challenging decisions that have to be made by the minister, obviously with advice from other people within the health service, in terms of, how do you spend that money so that you can maximise the benefit for the population as a whole. And the kind of work that we do when we look at the costs and the effectiveness and make a comparison between those, it allows those choices to be informed. So you can make them anyway, but you only have so much money. But probably the better way to do it is to be informed and know what benefit you're getting for the money that you're spending.
Yes, or I get you, we can't tease this out now, or you have the budget is not set from space. We set the budget and then we're confined by that budget. So there is a point down the chain here that we decide that gets us into this position. But that is currently the way it is. So How do people have their consultation? Because they've got up until the 20th of January. So where is the form available for people to have their say, Doctor?
It's on the website, so www.hicwa.ie. So there's the reports available there, the forms available there. It can be downloaded and posted to us, or it can be completed online.
Lovely stuff. Thanks so much for your time. That's Dr. Maureen Ryan. Again, you see, when you open it up to public consultation, there are some people that won't immunise their children against anything and certainly won't partake in this. And if they do that, are they going to be one of the ones that ends up in hospital? So if you had a program in place and they didn't take the vaccine or the immunisation, it wouldn't matter anyway. I don't know. I just feel that we've stepped into a point now whereby whether it's this or the flu, the enhanced flu jab, that someone somewhere is making a decision saying, "Oh God, no." I mean, 5 people might die, but that's going to cost us 50 million. That's crazy. We can't do that, and then it doesn't happen. Does that bother anybody else, or am I just talking out of my hat? That we could say, well, the kids are probably sick anyway. I'm not saying anyone's saying that, but...
Fill your stocking this Christmas from all the great gift ideas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show. See mcgees.ie or like McGee's on Facebook for a chance to win some great prizes.
The Three Amigos, Jimmy Buckley, Robert Mazzell and Patrick Feeney are back on tour. This award-winning show is full of laughter, music and song. See The Three Amigos live. Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny, Monday, January 26th. Tickets priced $39.50, now on sale at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie, where extra charges may apply. The Three Amigos live. This show is not to be missed.
Christmas is in the air and Cadbury Secret Santa is back. If you would like to send a free chocolate bar to someone special, then look out for the special Cadbury Secret Santa posters in and around Donegal. Or search for Cadbury Secret Santa to find out more. 18 plus. Free service on selected products while stocks last until December 21st. For full terms and conditions, visit www.cadbury.ie.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Family Fun starts here. Join us for family time at your local library this December and explore some of the many events taking place for families in all local libraries across Donegal. From stop-motion Lego challenges, painting and craft, sing-alongs, Christmas card making, comic workshops, reading corners and storytelling. Family time at your library is packed with free fun activities for all ages. Library membership is free and events are happening at each of the 13 branches throughout the county. To find out more, visit donegallibrary.ie or call into your local branch. Your library, your family time.
Donegal at night. It's lively, it's ours. Let's be safe and sound. Whether you're at the cinema, a show, a match, or just out for a stroll, we all play a part in creating a safe and enjoyable atmosphere after dark. Let's have the crack, be sound to nighttime staff, and make sure everyone gets home safe. Let's keep Donegal a place where we all feel respected. Let's be safe and sound. A message from Donegal County Council's Buncrana Nighttime Economy Initiative, funded by the Department of Culture, Communications and Sport.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range, or shop online anytime at mcelhinneys.com.
Right, so status orange wind warning for Donegal. I'll just go down the alert. It's the easiest way. Storm Bram will bring very strong to gale force southerly winds with severe gusts. Impacts flooding on low-lying coastal areas, especially during the high tide this evening. Wave overtopping. Difficult travel conditions. Debris, loose objects displaced. Outdoor events impacted. Power outages. That's all a potential, not guaranteed. It's running from 2 o'clock this afternoon until 9 p.m. This evening, and there's the so that's for Donegal, and just be careful is the advice. Oh, it's not the advice; it's just the Pre-presidential election. I worked at a polling station for the presidential election on the 24th of October and I've still not been paid. Has anyone else had this issue? We work from 6:30am till 11pm. It's a long day, but it is a lovely day. It'd be nicer if we could get paid. I find not being paid very disrespectful. Greg, surely to encourage shop local, all towns should remove the cost of parking for the month of December. I don't know if that... Listen, there is... I mean, say, for instance, in Letterkenny, you get half an hour, which is enough for me. I run around like a chicken with the head chopped off. Do you know where I drove through recently as well, too, and I hadn't for a while, and it's beautiful, and it's vibrant, and it's busy, is Buncrana Main Street. My word, that is one beautiful town. And it's not that I'm not familiar with Buncrana. In my previous jobs, I've worked all around Buncrana. But from top to the bottom, it seems just like the most busy, bustling town. Shops everywhere. I saw virtually no dereliction. All different types of... In fact, I didn't spot any derelict buildings. I'm not saying they're not there. I didn't spot them. But every single shop you could want to is there as well. And it all looked really, really clean. And so impressed. Buncrana's looking amazing. And I'll tell you, that Main Street looks really busy and vibrant and festive. So fantastic stuff. As I say, it's not that I'm unfamiliar with it. It's just that the sat-nav normally directs you around Buncrana, and I drove through it on the way back from ROB, and I must say I was blown away by it and the size of it and the length of the main street. It really is a great spot. I can see and understand why it's so popular.
The 9 till noon show with McGee's Chemist Main Street Letterkenny, offering a great range of digital cameras and binoculars for Christmas. McGee's, the photographic experts, where the best costs less.
Please support the St Vincent de Paul annual appeal. Donate today at svp.ie or call 0818 176 176. Thank you.
Give the gift of gold this Christmas at Armacolla Jewellers in Letterkenny. They have the most exquisite range of earrings, the prettiest of pendants you've ever seen, beautiful bracelets, charming chains and attractive necklaces. Let Armacollas help make it a magical Christmas at the Letterkenny Shopping Centre and Main Street, Letterkenny, or online at armacolla.com.
Declan loves a leisurely Sunday drive, even on a Tuesday, ignoring all the angry honks of people trying to get home from work. You see, with Dunstores Click and Collect, Declan is never in a rush. He can order online and collect his groceries at a time that suits him. From online grocery shopping to buy me same-day delivery, there's a way to shop for everyone at Dunstores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Buy me is subject to location and availability. Minimum spend required.
Introducing Secret RF Microneedling to Genesis Clinic Gidor, a treatment that tightens, lifts and reduces wrinkles, stretch marks and scars. PDO thread lifts, exosomes and skin boosters are also available, improving facial contours and lifting jowls, the neck, cheeks and eyebrows. Genesis also offers dermal fillers and laser treatments for rosacea and acne, plus all skin conditions. Christmas vouchers available from the clinic and online. Genesis Clinic Gidor, 074 95 325 75.
To refresh your home, visit Foy's Fabric Department in Letterkenny. We've got ready-made curtains, made-to-measure options, window blinds of every kind and so much more. From cushions and throws to upholstery fabrics, choose from top global brands and get advice from our experienced interior design team. Style it your way with Foy's, Port Road, Letterkenny.
Have you booked your place on Highland Radio's Cavan Country Getaway at the Sleeve Russell Hotel, Monday 2nd to Thursday 5th of February? Enjoy dinner, bed and breakfast, plus live music from David James, Jimmy Buckley, Dominic Kerwin, Louise Morrissey, Sean Keane and many more. All for €495 per person sharing. Call us to book or visit highlandradio.com.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to noon show on Highland Radio.
And at 11 o'clock, let's get a news update. It's good morning again to Ryan Brawley.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Storm Bram is set to bring gale force winds as much of the country comes under an orange wind alert today. These warnings will happen during different time frames, with Donegal the final county to come under the orange warning from 2 p.m. today. Currently, the county is under a yellow warning for wind. 5 people in Donegal have been arrested on suspicion of drink driving offences and 4 arrested on suspicion of drug driving over the past week. This comes as Gardaí carry out high visibility checkpoints, mandatory intoxication testing checkpoints and patrols. From the 9 drivers, 3 had previously been disqualified. A Donegal woman in her 40s who was arrested on suspicion of attempting to bring drugs into the UK will stand trial in 2030. The woman pleaded not guilty to the charges when she appeared at Isleworth Crown Court in London yesterday. An appeal for any witnesses has been made following an incident of criminal damage in Letterkenny. This took place in the Cashel Park area on Thursday last at around 8 p.m. During the incident, front door glass at a house was smashed. Anyone with dashcam footage or other information is urged to contact Letterkenny Garda Station. The government has defended a video shared by the Department of Housing advising young people on how to cope with moving back in with their parents. The video features 2 young people offering tips such as setting house rules, paying rent, doing chores, and managing potential conflicts while living at home. Figures from the Society of Chartered Surveyors of Ireland show only the top 20% of earners in the country can afford to rent an apartment. Gardaí are appealing for information after a wheelie bin was set alight outside a house in St Johnstone. The incident, which occurred in the Clashie Gowan area, happened at approximately 7:20 p.m. on Tuesday, December 2nd. Fire services attended the scene and it did not spread. Gardaí and Letterkenny are appealing to anyone who may have observed any suspicious activity in that area around that time, or anyone who travelled in that area with a dashcam between 7 and 8 to make footage available. That's all from the newsroom. We'll have more headlines at 12.
Thank you, Ryan. Back after a really short break.
If you love amazing Christmas value, you'll love Aldi's Board Beer Quality Assured Fresh Whole Irish Turkeys from $8.99. In store from December 20th, ready to crown the Christmas table. Our festive frozen party food, including southern fried chicken bites, 12 duck spring rolls, and a vegan party selection, all at just $1.99. That'll get you in the party mood. If you love Christmas, you'll love Aldi, while stocks last.
Now, a new study has found that 86% of teachers reported moderate to high levels of personal burnout, 85% reported moderate to high work-related burnout, 85% identified workload as a direct contributor to burnout. The Teachers' Occupational Wellbeing Research 2025 is where that detail was taken from. John Boyle is the INTO secretary, the union that represents many of the teachers that we're talking about, and he joins us on the programme now. Good morning to you, John. Good to see you.
Thanks very much, Greg.
Anything in this survey from the DCU surprise you, John?
Not a bit, Greg. You know, we've been calling on the Department of Education and Youth to do an independent review of teacher workload, because this phenomenon has really created havoc in schools over the last number of years. And I know that some media outlets this morning were, I suppose, apportioning some of the blame to parents. We would lay the blame solely on the shoulders of the Department of Education and Youth, who just seem to know no respite in relation to what they're asking schools to do. Every societal ill, we signed up to a public service pay deal a year and a half ago, and we had, I think, 13 actions for the education sector. And in the meantime, the department has added about another 30 actions. So, schools and teachers want to see good teaching and learning, and there's no space for that to be happening. But the amount of pressure that's been lashed on to school leaders and teachers at the moment by the department.
Is this about their expectations, and that in and of itself with normal class sizes would be difficult, but it's exacerbated sometimes by larger class sizes? What I'm trying to get at is in an ideal world, if we had the perfect recommended amount of pupils per class, would this still be a problem for teachers? In other words, is this an issue separate to, say, class sizes or resources that's exacerbated by the problems in those areas?
No, they're all absolutely linked, and I'm glad you picked up on that, Greg. There's a European conference now in Rome starting tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be attending that on teacher workload and wellbeing. And Ireland has been identified as an outlier by the European research, in the sense that we have the highest class sizes in the primary sector in the EU. And as well as that, we don't actually have time built into our school year for teacher training, CPD, for reflection as a staff on some of these new initiatives. We teach 910 pupil contact hours in primary, which is one of the highest in the OECD. But in most other countries, at least 30 to 40 of that school year, those hours rather, would be set aside for, teamwork, collaboration, people coming in to teach you about, for example, the revised curriculum that's been mooted for next year. We still don't know what supports the Department of Education is going to put in place for those. And when all those things come on top of the different initiatives that different ministers like to launch, and schools want to always do their best for their pupils, but it's just becoming unbearable, and the burden is huge. And we can see it with the lack of teachers in Ireland too, Greg. I think it's linked to that, because a lot of the younger teachers are realizing that when they go abroad, they have the smaller class sizes, they have the time to collaborate with their colleagues, they have a potential promotional opportunity where they can become a lead of a department. We have very little of that here in Ireland. And it's a much more attractive proposition to go away for 5 or 6 years. And that's a huge loss to our children here in Ireland as well. So I'm glad that DCU has highlighted this in their research. I mean, those figures are startling. 86% of teachers having moderate to high levels of personal burnout. And most of them are blaming it on the workload coming from the department. So it's high time that this is highlighted. And I hope the new Minister Naughton listens carefully to our call this morning for an independent review. They did that in the North, Greg, last spring. We had industrial action in the North and on pay and workload. And one of the outcomes was that the minister, given he brought in an independent panel of three very, very accomplished individuals, some of them international experts, to review teacher workload in Northern Ireland. The report was published last Monday, a very detailed report. Our members there are very, very happy with the recommendations. So if it's good enough for the 6 counties, surely Minister Naughton can replicate that here in the 26.
I mean, I think all of us feel underpaid, or many of us feel underpaid. And if you work in a call center, or if you work in this job I'm in, or you work in retail or in hospitality, you do generally start to feel burnt out heading towards the weekend. That's why we look forward to our days off so much. And, you have that annual leave, and that's why we look forward to that and try and recharge our batteries and what have you. And I'm asking a question, it's not an opinion. Is this not part, though, of working life that you feel burnt out? Sometimes I feel like, listen, I just need a couple of days off work. So, is this not sort of just across working life and just part of being an adult?
Look, it has to be acknowledged, Greg, that teachers get longer time away from their schools than many other workers, because teachers tend to be in the summertime. They certainly have a choice of having a good long break to recharge the batteries in the summer. Not every teacher takes that choice due to pay being low, and also a commitment to children with special educational needs where they do the July provision. But they do have good breaks. But the study that DCU carried out is about workplace stress and burnout, and we would be of the view that that's a fairly recent phenomenon in primary education. When I started teaching, I had very large classes, and that certainly brought its own pressures. But we didn't have all these extraneous demands being made of us. Okay, sometimes by parents too, and we have there's a COVID, I suppose, a historical thing there with COVID, that we give out all our teachers' emails, and some schools then continued with that process, which we certainly wouldn't be encouraging. But by and large, we would place the responsibility for this on the Department of Education. There's 2 things they can do. They can certainly phase the timing of the new initiatives and the changes and the reforms, and not expect that you're going to be doing multiple reforms concurrently. You have one reform, you focus on that piece of work, you get that done, you reflect on the successes of it, and then you move on, you do another one. And every time you get a new one, you drop something that you've been doing previously. And that's a good work practice in any workplace. And we'd certainly hope that our paymaster would take heed of this study, because it's quite startling. And if the teachers are going to continue to be burned out like this in Ireland, we're going to have a very, very serious problem with having a high quality education system. So there's lots of things the new minister can do. She's only in the office now a couple of weeks. She's promised to meet us now before Christmas, and we'll be bringing all this to her and more.
John, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. That's John Boyle, INTO General Secretary. Your views, maybe you are a teacher listening to us that doesn't ordinarily get to listen to us, but maybe your school was closed. Interested in your views, 07491 25000. I do want to point out, by the way, that I didn't bring in holidays, summer holidays, into that conversation. It was Mr. Boyle. Not that that's a no-no to talk about, but it wasn't I that said it. Aquila said, why is the Inishowen woman accused of being a drugs mule not being named? And why does the news item not say if she got bail or not? Very strange. Well, there's a lot strange about I don't know where that... I mean, obviously her name's not being released by the courts. It's not being withheld by us. But I haven't read too much into that case. But why is she standing trial in 2030? I've never heard that before, ever. That in 2025 a trial is fixed for 2030. I have no idea what's going on. My curiosity, the same as yours, was piqued or tweaked or whatever the phrase is, and I'll also be looking into that, because that part of it was more... I understand sometimes names are withheld for legal reasons. It's certainly not a media decision. I presume she's not going to be kept in jail for 5 years. I didn't hear... I was doing something else as the report was being read, but also... to know a trial's taking place in 5 years' time is that also seems a little bit strange. Can you please mention last evening at Kilross Junction, a car heading to Convoy decided to pull out in front of a lorry heading to Stranraer, a white BMW. Disgraceful. That's why we have to be alert all of the time. Hi, how do I report a dangerous driving incident to Letterkenny Garda? I do have a dash cam recording. There's a couple of ways you can do it, and I'll check this out, or maybe one on the team can. You can, there is a website where you can upload that detail and information to, but ordinarily call the guards and they'll advise you, but there is a portal there as well. I'll dig into that a little bit more and come back with you with an answer in relation to that. Hi, could you please announce that bingo in Hallamura, Glencolmkill tonight is cancelled due to Storm Bram? More than happy to do so. And we are, as a public service to you guys, though not officially according to the state, we are more than happy to get all this information out. So please make sure to use the biggest platform in the county to your benefit. And on that issue, Mulroy Woods bingo cancelled tonight. I know a lot of people look forward to that, but anyway, disappointment. Bingo in Burt is cancelled tonight as well. You get a text message. This is a scam that's going around. You get a text message from someone on your contact list. You get a text saying that they've changed phones and they need a code. You send the code and you get scammed. I used the link and 3 of my contacts got the text too. I went to the phone shop and they said they never to text on codes. Please never text on codes. That is a scam. I'm getting also this call from a British voice, probably AI, saying about a job and add me to your contacts. I don't know what that story is, but anyway. Obviously, some people fall for it. Where are we now? Okay, I read that one. Last one just before a break here. Hi, Greg. My mum's 93 and will not take the flu jab or any of the COVID injections. She says you do not know what's in them, and she's very healthy, had all her movements and a brilliant mind, and says since COVID injections came out and people got them, that a lot of ones have taken illness a lot quicker and has killed people, she believes, as well with the injections. So I won't be getting them either. You hear of lots of people that got COVID injections, says they won't get any more, and that's a fact. Thanks, Rose. Listen, people make their own decisions. Thankfully, we live in that society now. My mother lived to 82 and smoked 40 majors a day. I'm not saying that's an advertisement for smoking, but you could, using that same logic, say, well, I'm just going to go back on the fags and smoke 40 major a day. So I was lucky that my mum lived that long as she did and relatively healthy, and it's great that your mum's into her 90s now and relatively healthy. These one-offs, like your mum, my mum, don't necessarily prove the fact. We just are blessed to have them in our lives healthy for as long as possible. But there you go. Okay, back with more after the break.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Fill your stocking this Christmas from all the great gift ideas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show. See mcgees.ie or like McGee's on Facebook for a chance to win some great prizes.
Come and enjoy the brand new menus at the Water's Edge Rathmullen. Now open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Treat yourself to the freshly prepared dishes made with the best local produce in our stunning waterfront setting. Booking advisable on 07498911352 or via the Water's Edge Hotel Rathmullen on Facebook.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. And we're not talking about Christmas. We're talking about ordering your 261 at iMotors. The most loved Nissan offer is back. 4K your way. Right now, get €4,000 off a brand new Nissan. Use it as a finance contribution or a trade-in booster. From the ever-popular Qashqai with comfort, tech and reliability to the sporty Juke, the head-turning electric Aria and the spacious X-Trail. We have the perfect car for you. Plus, the new Micra and new Leaf are on the way and landing in the new year. Visit iMotors Letterkenny or Malin today.
This Christmas, wear the magic of the Donegal crest. Try the new Donegal Hydra range. Tees, polos and fleece tops. Perfect gifts for every Donegal supporter this festive season. Brian McCormick Sports. In-store or online at bmcsports.ie. Kitting out Donegal since 1995.
Put your money where your heart is this Christmas with a Strabane gift card. It's the perfect way to support local businesses and can be used in 80 plus businesses, making it the perfect gift this Christmas. So love local today. Buy the Strabane gift card at O'Neill's Sportswear, online at www.lovestrabane.com or load your own card at SuperValue Strabane.
TFI Local Link operates evening and weekend services throughout rural Ireland to help you stay connected 7 days a week. We know life doesn't just happen 9 to 5, so if you're commuting, shopping, visiting family, or going out in the evenings or on the weekends, let TFI Local Link take you there. Visit transportforireland.ie.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
It is 11:18. Welcome back to the programme. Cliona Mahoney is the National Fostering Recruitment Manager and joins us now. Good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Greg. Thank you for having me.
And we do get involved in these types of information campaigns, and it's quite regular. And the hope being that you catch one or two people each time. You know, that's why we do it. It might sound like a familiar message to those involved in it or not interested in it, but the idea is that we just catch people's imaginations, and it's the right thing for them at the right time. So talk to us about the purpose of this information evening about fostering, and I suppose about fostering and the need generally, maybe, Cliona.
Sure. Well, maybe I'll just start off by kind of explaining Tusla Fostering and just where I'm coming from. So with Tusla Fostering, we're the only state provider of foster care in the country, and we are the largest community of foster carers, where over 3,700 foster carers open their homes to over 5,000 children who are in care. So there is an ongoing demand for fostering and for foster carers to help children, to provide that integral support system in every community across Ireland. So we're really looking for foster carers to come and talk to us if they've been thinking about it, or if they would be thinking about it, or maybe they're interested, so that we can kind of help them to understand maybe what some of the opportunities might be. Because our doors are really open to foster carers from all walks of life, all different age bands, over 25, and there's no age limit. So we're really looking for as many foster carers as possible to support children and young people, because they do really offer that opportunity to help children and young people try to make sense of the world in a warm, safe, stable home while they can't be with their family of origin or with their birth children.
Yeah, and you can be working full-time, part-time, you can be a couple, you can be single, you can have your own children, you might be childless. There's no real, there's no blocks in that space, really.
No, and there's lots of misconceptions, I think, out there about who can become a foster carer. What we would say is there's no typical foster carer. We have foster carers from all different walks of life, different backgrounds, different communities, different religions. And so you can, as you said yourself, you can be married, you can be cohabiting, you can be single. None of those things are factors that would be a barrier for us. It's really about looking towards how you might be able to support a child or a young person and their needs, and being able to provide that safe, stable, warm home, if you can offer it. And we know that it can feel like a daunting task, that it can feel like a big commitment. And we're really trying to give people an opportunity with this information session and with other information sessions that we provide, sometimes in person, and sometimes online as well, to help people break down what some of those elements are of fostering. So we have lots of different types of foster care that might be suitable to lots of different needs. So sometimes people like to try respite fostering just to kind of try it out, and that would be short-term fostering, might be once a month, that you might be able to have a child or a young person in your home. And that once a month might be regular visits, so you might see them once a month for a few months, or it might even be shorter. But it does give people that opportunity to test it out. And we have other opportunities there as well. Emergency fostering, that might be where there might be an acute crisis where we just need some short-term care so we can figure out the needs of the child or the young person. And then everything else up to long-term fostering, which is where you might have your have the child or young person until they're 18, and when they reach that. But I think the important thing maybe for your listeners, if they are thinking about it, that we do have lots of information on our website.
Yeah, okay, I'll just give
www.1-800-226-771 as well to get more information.
All right, just we had a little bit of a lag there. Some people then, because I'm trying to get people along to this online information event about fostering in Donegal. It's on Wednesday, the 10th of December at 7 p.m. It's not about money, right? But it's about support. So I presume there are supports there, because you're talking about taking another person into your home. If it was a very young child, they have their needs that must be met, and if it's an older child as well. So what level of support is there for people if they do become a foster parent or parents?
Sure. So with TUSLA fostering, we really try to make sure that both the child and the foster carer have lots of supports around them, for lots of different reasons. So while there is an allowance for foster carers, depending on the age of the child, that can range between 400 and 425 weekly. We also provide other emotional supports for the foster carers. We have peer support workers as well, which are experienced foster carers, which particularly help new foster carers coming into the system. And that can be a nice way for foster carers to learn from other people and to see how their experience was, and to get that additional sense of how they might make sense of fostering as well. There's always a link worker that's aligned with the foster carer as well. So we always try to make sure that there is a social worker who is available to provide those individual supports to the foster carers. And then there's the 24/7 support as well, just to make sure that you're not on your own. There's always a phone number that you can call if you need any additional support, or you have any queries or questions on it too. So we do try to make sure that there is holistic support around the foster care as well as the child.
You've already answered this. Can I foster as a single parent? No, well,
Yes.
actually, we talked of single. We didn't talk single parents, but that's a yes. Is there an upper age limit? I won't mention this person's age, but they're a little older. Well, they're 74. They've put their age in the text. Is there, generally speaking, obviously taking into consideration, their own needs and their health or what have you, is there, generally speaking, an upper age limit to fostering?
There's no upper age limit to fostering. We do recommend that foster carers are over the age of 25, but no upper age limit. And really, it's about, as you've said there, Greg, that ability to be able to take care of the child that would be in their care. And so we'd be looking at lots of different core components of what that would look like. And every child comes with their own needs, and it's important that we can really arrange that matching process so we can discuss with the foster carer what might be suitable for you with your current circumstances, with your living arrangements, with your health, etc. And then for the child as well, looking at what their needs are and really trying to promote that matching between both of them as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, that process is much about checking on the needs of the potential fosterer, the foster parent. Is there a hard and fast rule? A number of callers actually asking, does the foster child have to have their own room?
So we would recommend, and it is certainly preferred, that a child would have their own room, but it's not absolutely necessary. But it does depend on the age of the child, and it depends on the needs of the child as well. Again, so they're all the factors that we would look at. And so at the information session tomorrow evening, we would break down some of those ideas that people might have in terms of some of those myths maybe that come out. But really for us, the main thing is that we are meeting the needs of the child within that. So there's some considerations around different ages and who can share and who can't share, etc. But they're all things that we can talk about with individual people, either through the free phone line or through the information session if they wanted to ask some questions.
And the need is so great that you never know what peg can fit into which hole either, I suppose, as well. A caller wants to know if they're thinking about fostering, right? And I'm trying to paraphrase this. They're wondering what type of interaction might they have to have with the birth parents, in terms of, are they likely to be from another town, or what might need to be facilitated? Again, I can think in my head of where it's going to apply differently in different cases.
Absolutely. And this again will be down to the needs of the child and what the relationship is. And sometimes there are access visits, and sometimes we have foster carers and birth parents who have very close relationships, and sometimes not so much. So again, that would really depend on the circumstances. But we are always looking towards how we can support the birth parents as well. So it is an important component for some children to keep that connection and to ensure that they have that liaison and that access with the birth parents also. So as you said, Greg, it really does depend. But certainly there is access within that we would try to promote.
Generally speaking, would you try and keep the child in their own community?
We certainly do try to do that, and it is another misconception that maybe some people have ruled themselves out for various reasons, thinking that, well, that's only for cities, that's only for urban life. And we're really trying to get that message out there that we are looking for foster carers from all different types of communities, rural and urban, so that we can keep children and young people in their local communities, in their local schools, their local clubs. If they're part of GAA or they're part of another sports club, we want them to be able to continue that regularity as much as possible for consistency, because a lot of other things might be changing in their life, and to help them make sense of that, or to have something that is consistent in their lives, that is really important to us. So all geographical regions, all different spreads, all walks of life, we're really inviting people, come and talk to us. Again, on the free phone line, or come to the information session tomorrow evening, and you can register for that online at our fostering.
And I'm going to recap that just as the final word. So if anyone wants to grab a pen now, is fostering only provided through TUSLA? Because a caller says, as a foster mother in Donegal, are there any supports for foster parents like me? You talked of, this network in the TUSLA sort of environment. I presume that listener probably isn't in that ecosystem, the TUSLA ecosystem, or they would know first off where the supports were, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I can't really comment on any other agency that might provide other supports.
But there are others.
Okay. We do have those supports available in TUSLA Fostering.
Right. Okay. So just because it's not perfectly clear to me, is this exclusively online? This information event tomorrow night?
Yes, so this is an online information event, and we do try to host these at least once a month so that we can give people an opportunity to tap in at different times. Sometimes people might like to attend the information sessions a couple of times before they make up their mind or before they formally register their interest. So this one is solely online. Now, we do have on the fostering.ie website, we do have sometimes information sessions that are in person. So we have teams across the country who are out and about doing outreach at different festivals, stands, different events that are always promoting the need for foster carers and that demand. And that information is also available on our website if you look at in-person information sessions. But this one tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. is online, and registration is necessary through the website to be able to get the link for that.
Yeah, and 1-800-226-771 is the free phone number there. And there's also an email address, tuslafostering@tusla.ie. But the easiest way to register for that event tomorrow evening, and just have a listen, is through foster.ie, the website, right?
That's great.
Listen, Cliona, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks a lot,
Bye-bye.
Greg.
Look
Take
after
care.
yourself. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Right, we'll be back with more after the break.
Think outside the box with your photos this Christmas for canvas prints, Instablocks, mugs and photo books at mcgees.ie. McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
Is fúine atá sé leictreachas a úsáid bhealach níos cliste agus níos glise. Ag Electric Ireland táimeann seach an tróir a thuirteart. Le faisnéis fleanan na méidir cliste, tálaí EV agus panéil ghréine in our net zero hub nua. Déan d'úsáid níos soléire, turais níos glise, baile níos teolaí agus saol níos giile. Tuilleadh eolais ag electricireland.ie.
This is the sound of a superpower we all have. Sending Christmas cards to our family and friends and making them feel loved. Who will you send magic to? Your auntie? Your brother? Your bestie living abroad? You can buy Christmas stamp booklets in your local post office or online with free next day delivery. Send Christmas love from the heart today. An Post. Send love.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Maybe you're finally on a date again, 6 months after your divorce. Or maybe you and your better half are wondering whether a cuddle could be more than a cuddle. Or perhaps you'd like to tell a woman you're absolutely mad about that you don't feel like it tonight. There are lots of times and places where we need to say what we want and what we don't want. Whatever the moment, have the consent conversation.
A message from Coon, a Government of Ireland agency.
Hi, Teresa Mannion here with a road safety alert for bad weather. Your vehicle may be blown off course in strong winds, so slow down. Watch out too for vehicles and cyclists veering across the road and fallen debris like branches. Visit rsa.ie from the Road Safety Authority.
Christmas just got even bigger at Highland Radio. Not only could you win a brand new Renault Symbioz Techno worth over €35,000, but from December 8th to 19th, we're giving away a grand a day. If you've already bought your ticket, you're automatically in. If you haven't, now's the time to get your tickets at highlandradio.com.
Michaela O'Leary, sales manager at Too Good To Go Ireland. It is Michaela, or is it Michaela?
Michaela is perfect too. Thank you so much for having me on.
Is it common where you're from that there's different ways of pronouncing that? Up here, there's 2 or 3 different ways.
There is.
Okay.
I've gotten, I think, every variation under the sun.
Right. Well, Michaela is what we're going to call you, as that's your name. Right. So, Too Good To Go. Talk to me about it.
Absolutely. So, Too Good To Go is a social impact company. We try and reduce food waste. And we do that by connecting kind of locals in Ireland with local food businesses who have food left over at the end of the day. And they sell it on for a really good price on our app. So we're all about reducing food waste and giving great deals to consumers, I suppose.
Do we have any idea as to sort of how much waste has been prevented through this initiative? How long has it been established now?
Absolutely. So globally, Too Good To Go has been operating for about 10 years, and we've saved about 500 million meals. Across the world, we save 4 meals every second, which I think is a lovely stat. In Ireland, we've been operating for just over 4 years now. We're very lucky. We work with over 3,000 amazing businesses in Ireland, and we've saved just over 2 million meals, which is a lot of food to be saving from going in the bin.
For sure. Now, obviously, too, we have to talk in the context of what we do, right? So that's business, presumably, and us trying to limit food waste through that relationship that you broker. But we, as a nation, are very wasteful within our own four walls, aren't we?
We are in Ireland, this always astounds me. In Ireland alone, we waste 2 million kgs of food every single day.
Oh my word.
You know, for a country so rooted in farming and with such a high quality of produce, it's kind of shocking to think that we throw out that much every single day. And we know from research from the EPA that it costs the average household around €700 per year, Hugh, which is a lot of money to be throwing out in today's climate.
And a lot of it is unnecessary. It's often stuff, I'd imagine, with a relatively short, lifespan.
Look, it can happen for a variety of reasons. I think it's so common these days to kind of over purchase, maybe not have checked your fridge or your cupboards before you do your weekly shop. All of a sudden, you've got extra salad leaves, you've got extra bread, whatever it may be. And then life is so busy at the end of the week, you check your cupboards. I always say you've got like a bag of sad salad in the background, and unfortunately, you do have to bin it. And I think, what we're really focused on at the moment is, I suppose, making people aware of the waste that can happen across the Christmas period. We did a survey recently, and almost 80% of Irish consumers said that they wasted food over Christmas, which is a real shame.
Mm. And what are the most common? What are the most common things that are wasted? Because you could imagine with this sort of message that's put out there, the turkey and the turkey curry and the turkey sandwiches, and this go lasting right until middle of March. But that's really not the full story, is it? We do waste a lot of stuff.
You're exactly right. I actually think we're very good with reusing the meats, and I suppose we portion it and buy it correctly. But the highest waste levels are actually bread, at about 48% of consumers saying they waste bread, and in and around 42% on vegetables. And I think the most important thing there is there's loads that you can do to reuse and recycle, I suppose, bread and vegetables, and give them kind of a day two or a day three revival. So I think that's definitely something consumers should be aware of and should be mindful of over the Christmas period.
Yeah, and it can be simple stuff, isn't it? You can make a nice soup. It's easy done, isn't it? Breadcrumbs is an option for your out of date bread, but there's other stuff you can do with bread too. It's a case of just googling out. There's tons of information out there.
Well, that's it. And like my mom always, when she bought bread when I was younger, would put it straight into the freezer and kind of take it out as she needed it. And I think, over Christmas, we all have the mindset of, I don't want to be left wanting. I don't want to have to go out to the shop on Christmas Eve. I do it myself. I can totally understand it. But it's about using then your freezer smartly to make sure you're reducing your food
But that's
waste.
really important because I thought in a way, if how you can get maybe a deal on meat or whatever and freezing it, uh, that's fine, but you have to have a plan. And it took me a while
You
to get
do.
into a routine that you take that mince out, you stick it in the fridge and let it, defrost it, if you're going to cook it that night, or chicken breast or something along those lines. So it's not just a case of jamming it in the freezer and thinking it's job done. You do have to sort of figure out what comes next.
You do. And look, I always feel a bit boring when I give people advice on how to reduce their food waste, because it's about focusing on it. It's about writing your shopping list. It's about planning what you're going to eat ahead, which is like, it's not normal or natural for everyone, but that is meaningfully how you can reduce your food waste. And you're exactly right. If something's in the freezer, you have to know when you want to take it out and use it.
The game changer for me was uh, because, say, for instance, you got the meat in a plastic package, or you got it in a white bag if it's from the butcher's, and it goes in there and it just stays there often. What I've started doing is vacuum sealing it, so vacuum sealing it
Very
flat,
good.
so it's
Yeah.
attractive, right? So mince, if it's a kilogram, split it up, flatten it out, vacuum seat. You can get them for 25 quid in your local middle aisle retailer, right? But also writing how long was left on it when I put in. And it just reassures me that when I reach for it, that I didn't freeze it 30 seconds before midnight. You know, it's for my own reassurance, because I do something and I think it's great on Monday, and then I forget why I did it on Thursday.
Yeah, and even something that made a big difference for me is, let's say I had like a load of chili left over. I might be tempted to put that all into the freezer in one block, but now I like portion it out into one meal servings. So I'm kind of pulling it out and not defrosting.
But do you do
the
it in
whole thing.
Tupperware?
I actually do it in the kind of reusable plastic
Yeah,
bag,
that's the
so
job.
I kind of flatten it.
Yeah. I think you take
it looks
that
like
out,
a very organized fridge.
Exactly. You take that out otherwise in a big red bowl, right? And you go, what am I going to do with that, man? And also, it takes too long to defrost. It's like the world in reverse, freezing in the middle and then soft on the outside. If you flatten it, it defrosts much quicker. It's more accessible, and it feels less like that you just chucked it in the bowl. 3 chicken breasts in a white bag, you put them in the freezer and they come out in a white round ball of chicken. It's not attractive, right? So you flatten them out and they look like lovely fresh chicken breasts. Simple things, and it saves us money. Our waste is massive.
Really so. And look, another thing I love to do is genuinely to use Too Good To Go. Like, we've got great partners in Donegal. We work with all of the O'Hare's bakeries. If you're looking to reduce food waste, you can get amazing desserts for one of your Christmas dinners or your lunches via Too Good To Go. Groceries from Aldi. Like, there's so many options there. So I would encourage anyone.
And what
who
does
is
it work?
looking
Do
to reduce food
you
waste.
get like a surprise box or bag or what? Or can you order the individual items? What way does it work?
So essentially what happens is when you open the app, you'll see all the profiles of local businesses in your area. And on the profile, it will give some indication of what might be included, bearing in mind that it is called a surprise bag and you're not going to know exactly what you're
Well,
going
it
to
has
get.
to be. I mean, this could be so overwhelmed in admin that it would never get off the ground.
Well, that's exactly it. And look, if you're going to O'Hare's bakery, you're going to get cakes or pastries.
You're not getting a bag of mincemeat. Let's be,
No,
you know what's going on.
exactly.
You're going
But
in with
if
your
you go
eyes
to
wide
one of
open.
our butcher partners, for example, you will get some type of meat. And then partners like Aldi or Eurospar, all operating in Donegal, it's much broader. It's a grocery surprise bag, anything really. Meats, fish, poultry, dairy. It could really be anything.
What
And
kind of
I think that's a
discounts
nice
do
thing.
you sort of hope for, or is there an actual sort of a figure, Michaela?
So you'll see on the profile the original price and then the Too Good To Go price, and it's usually around a third of the full value, which is an amazing deal. When grocery prices are rising by 6%, 7% this year, I think anything that can help us bring down that food shop cost is a massive win.
All right, okay. Well, people can check it out and also take on that advice. Thank you very much indeed, Michaela O'Leary, sales manager at Too Good To Go, Ireland.
Hugo Boss, Tom Ford, Dior, Marc Jacobs and Carolina Herrera. Find all the biggest names in perfume and aftershave this Christmas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of today's 9 till noon show.
For your next menswear choice, visit Watson Menswear in Letterkenny. From suits to casual wear, there's big names to choose from like Andre, Rima's Umo, Superdry and Penguin. If you're going to a special occasion, get fitted in style for less with a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie and shoes, all for an amazing €299. That's at Watson Menswear. Open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and online at watsonmenswear.com. The Christmas Club is also now open where a small deposit will secure any item.
Running a business isn't easy, but accessing support should be. The new National Enterprise Hub is the single source for all government support for your business. With over 180 supports in one place, it's easier than ever to find grants, advice, training and more. And don't worry about not knowing what you need. Our helpful team will guide you every step of the way. Visit neh.gov.ie to learn how we can help. The National Enterprise Hub. Support starts here, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
In the old Christmas run-up, everyone's squeezing in those last-minute jobs. Screwfix are helping you plough through them. With 24 days of surprises to unwrap in the Screwfix app. Don't miss out on offers on big brands. Unwrap a new surprise each day. Screwfix, no stopping you. Only on the app. Permissions required. No purchase necessary. For full T&Cs, see screwfix.ie.
Get the best sporting gifts this Christmas at Michael Murphy Sports. Check out the Precision Football and GA Rebounders, perfect for soccer, Gaelic football, hurling or multi-sport training. And for young gymnasts, the Kidnastics range is built for fun, confidence and endless hours of practice. Shop in store or online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Burglars are now doing their Christmas shopping. And guess what? They might just be calling with you. Install a wire-free burglar alarm from Sheridan Security Systems before December 31st and get 6 months round-the-clock monitoring free. Contact us today on 912-6025 for a free quotation. Have a peaceful Christmas with Sheridan Security.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find Christmas inspiration for everyone, from top beauty gifts to perfect last-minute ideas. Visit us in Ballybuffet to explore the full range or shop online anytime at mcelhenneys.com.
So as you know, a amber orange weather warning is in place for the entire northwest, north and south. So you can expect very strong winds, showers and some spells of heavy rain. That runs until 9 or 10 this evening. There's a red marine warning as well. Right, I'm joined on the programme by Angie Russell, who's a ADPI spokesperson, because humanitarian amnesty demonstration is to be held outside Leinster House tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. It's to mark International Human Rights Day. Angie, thank you for your time.
Hi there.
Nice of you to join us. Okay, so talk to me about the point one is getting across at this tomorrow.
So we've decided to make a demonstration tomorrow because, ironically enough, tomorrow is Human Rights Day, and it is also the birthday of direct provision. So this inhumane system, it was created on the 10th of December 1999, so it's the 26th birthday, and we are looking to make a demonstration to reclaim that day and ask for dignity.
Because there has been long-standing government commitments to get rid of direct provision, yet here we are.
Yeah, so according to the white paper that was introduced in 2021, there was promises of abolishing direct provision, but unfortunately we haven't seen anything with regard to those promises.
There's been a shift in the narrative whereby there was a time where voices like yours were, maybe more heard, and those that are very sort of anti-immigration or what have you were smaller in number. Now we have Minister Jim O'Callaghan, himself calling out certain things, what many with a certain point of view would have said they've been saying for years. It's not a balanced. It's never been a balanced conversation. It seems to be that the dissenting voice was very, very quiet, but now there doesn't seem a great deal of space for voices like yours, Angie, to talk about human beings and their plight and what responsibility we might have to them.
Yeah, so unfortunately we are in an anti-immigrant climate at the moment, and my voice, and along with the 1,500 ADPI members' voices that we are asking for amnesty for, it's very difficult to get on platforms like this and, share our stories, because we have lived experience and we know what it's like to actually be inside here. And, we've been full and for so many years. So we're hoping that by continuing with our demonstration, continuing with platforms like yourself and stuff, we might have a chance of this.
There's around 1,500 long-term asylum seekers, isn't there? There's more people living in direct provision because there are those that have been given leave to stay. I'm not sure if that 1,500 captures them as well. But are you calling? Am I reading it correctly that you're calling for a blanket humanitarian permission to stay for those that are remaining, or for the process of their applications to be sped up? What is the ADPI or you yourself, Angie, calling for?
So we are not asking for a blanket amnesty. Unfortunately, with the last amnesty, there was, a few mistakes, I would say, that were made, and there are a lot of people that are still in direct provision. whereas all of our AVPI members that had received amnesty, they have moved out. So this one, we are only asking for 1,500 members. This is only for have been here and are willing to move out within 6 months of receiving that amnesty. So it's a bit more regulated than the first one, and we'd like to refer to it as a pilot project. It's something that's small, it can be measured, it can be monitored, and if this works, we could try it again.
Yeah, and some of the people we are talking about, if not many of them, they live and work here. Your children may well go to school with their children. They may even share some of your concerns about immigration policy, ironically. We have a habit of pigeonholing or putting people into categories, and in many cases that can be a misplaced adventure.
Yeah, definitely. We have received an enormous amount of support and respect from the community, and political support. We've had some massive influx for that this past week, and we are so grateful for that, because we try to flip the narrative now, showing that we don't want to take, we want to contribute, and unfortunately, we've been forced to rely on state due to all of these immigration laws. We want something different. We've been here for long enough, and I feel like we deserve it at this point to live without being questioned for existing, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, and I really think on all issues we really need to get to a point in society where we have on many different things a balanced discussion, rather than a time whereby someone who might not agree with you, Angie, felt that they couldn't speak out publicly. And I do feel we're getting to the point where someone like you, even though some might disagree with you, might be reluctant to speak out publicly because of the pile-on that might come from. And I think just generally speaking on all issues, we need to get to a space whereby we can go back to having out in the open, balanced, respectful conversations. And within those conversations are the solutions, not necessarily everything that you want or everything that someone else's want, but something that's fair to all. And we can only do that through conversation. This, of course, is a demonstration taking place outside Leinster House. You may wish to join it if you're down there, or maybe you are travelling down to it. It's running from 10:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. And whether you agree with it or not, thankfully, we live in a society where you can gather like that and express your views. Angie, unless there's anything to add, I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. And if you'd like to come out and support tomorrow, we would be eternally grateful. It's always peaceful, and we're going to have our kids there and everything. We're hoping to get something out of this tomorrow.
Okay. And have you struggled to get coverage elsewhere, Angie, if you don't mind me asking, from the nationals, like your news talks, RTEs, the papers, etc.? I'm just curious if there's a change in the air, if that makes sense.
Yeah, look, it is a little difficult to get into contact with everybody at the moment, especially because a lot of people like to run stories where they can just push narrative instead of hearing directly from somebody, as I say, with lived experience. And we are not just media statistics kind of thing. If we actually sit down and have a conversation, you'll see that we are just generally normal human beings, and come from terrible situations, but
I'm not sure any human beings are normal. The longer I go in life, I don't care where you're from. Everyone you think's normal always turns out to be a bit cracked. But anyway, I do understand the level of normal representation is equal. All right, listen, Angie, thanks very much indeed. I hope the weather's not too bad for you tomorrow. Look after yourself. All right. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number if you wish to get in touch. I have a comment here about someone who's got a bit of a dilemma coming up to Christmas, and I'm going to read it at the beginning of tomorrow's show, or towards the start of tomorrow's show, because it is quite an interesting one, and I'm very interested to get your views on it, so that's why I'm holding it off. Have the consent conversation ads, they should be for adults, very difficult when you have an 8 or 10-year-old asking what it means. Is it like, I would reframe that? I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but if an 8 or 10-year-old says to me, what does consent mean, Daddy? And I would say that, I'd break it down. It doesn't have to be talking about sex, right? But it could be about, what someone wishes. You could talk about hugging. It's just a case of asking if can I give you a hug? I don't think it's not the space I live in where kids ask each other if they want hugs. I've heard situations where grandparents are, I can't know. I'm not getting into it now. It's too late in the show and I can't get my head straight. But there's loads of ways you can reframe that conversation that relates to an 8 and 10-year-old, whereby it's useful for them as they get older without having to go straight to the big issue, if that makes sense. Right now, the money keeps on rolling out here from Highland Radio. Coming up after 12 o'clock, John Breslin has got €1,000 to give away as part of our Cash and Car Christmas giveaway. It all culminates, of course, in that beautiful Renault Symbioz worth over €35,000 given away on this show just before Christmas. We've got nine prizes of €1,000 to give away. So that's 10 draws in total. If you want to be in the draw today and the rest of all the draws, then please get in touch with us. I'll tell you, I'll break it down for you tomorrow if you're interested. See your lotto plus three plus the bonus. I know the odds. This is better odds than winning 60 quid. You can get in touch with us right now, 07491 25,000. We can get you a ticket to make sure you're in all 10 draws, or go onto our website, highlandradio.com. John Breslin giving away